2 more showcases have come and gone, and it's time to talk about them. So, let's talk about it. Good morning, evening, or afternoon. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the XP Podcast, episode 54 for the first week of June 2023. I'm your host, Mike C, and joining me once again, as always, every time, all the time, my co-host, the Birdman himself, Logan B.
Howdy ho, everyone. Welcome to the Experience Point Podcast.
Howdy fucking ho.
Howdy ho. Welcome to what is going to be the summer of Experience Point, I guess you could say, because this is the time of the year where we get tons and tons of video game news. So
please, no
nothing
one,
but
please,
nothing
no one
but
say
excitement.
that. Please, no one say that. That was an awful name.
Yeah.
No, but this is
summer.
This is a very exciting episode, very jam-packed episode. Not said with any news stories because we're not doing really any news stories. But this is the episode where we give you our reviews for the Xbox Game Showcase, Summer Games Showcase. We're gonna go over the Future Games Showcase, and then, like we promised last episode, we're gonna go and give you our detailed spoiler cast in review for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. If you watched last week's episode, you know my score, but Logan saw it literally the day after we recorded. So he's going to give his score, his short summary, and then we're going to talk about all the cool things and all the bad things, of which I don't have one. So we're going to talk about all the cool things that goes on with that movie. So it's a very exciting episode. I'm excited.
Mhm.
How was your week? I mean, I've talked to you a bunch of times this week, but how was it anyway?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Yesterday, I guess I could talk about the story now. So yesterday, not long ago, we just talked yesterday, but we recorded the Xbox showcasing, which, by the way, you guys can, if you guys go check it out.
Massive
That's all I'm gonna say.
clusterfuck.
Just go check it out. It's really good though. I think we did a really good job. It was exciting. A lot of exciting stuff happened. Especially not so exciting stuff for us, but it was a good time. But I decided to get the Starfield Constellation Edition, which looks fucking awesome to me. I love that. I especially love watches. So to have a watch that I can wear, which I plan on wearing it, I know that's like a cardinal sin for collectors out there, but I'm sorry. It's a watch. Like, I want to wear it. So I'm really excited for it. It looks awesome, and I got it off of Walmart. Well, let me tell you guys a little something. I didn't know this, and it's really dumb, but I fucked up on the address by one number, and I put it in, did the whole pre-order process, and then I guess after like a short amount of time, you just can't edit that address ever again. It's not like it's being shipped out, because I mean, again, it's not going to be shipped out till like the early September. So why can't I change the address now? Like, they're like, oh, it's already like processed and everything. I'm like, but you can't change the address. Like, even Amazon lets you do that. I've had times where I messed up on Amazon. You can just change it right then and there. On Amazon, it does for me. It lets me edit on it.
Haven't been able to do it in years. I have to cancel the order.
That's fair. Well, yeah, so that really sucked. I'm still getting it though. They're like, oh, you should just cancel and reorder. I'm like, yeah, let me cancel it so then I lose the pre-order, because guess what? It was sold out by that time. So I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm not going to cancel the order. So I have a backup plan. As soon as I get the tracking number, I'm going to contact the Ubisoft, or, oh my god, I just said Ubisoft, UPS or FedEx, whatever they choose, and I'm just going to say, can you hold it at this location? That's my next move. That's gonna be the best move I could do, because my only other option is I go to the house that I fucked up the number and be like, hey, I have a package here that I was supposed to get over there.
You should do that, and then you should record that, and we should put it up as a special IRL vlog for the Experience Point. That'd be awesome.
What did I hear? I don't know what the fuck I just heard.
It's the ghost.
But no, yeah, I'm happy at least I had a backup plan, but that really sucked because the only reason I messed up the address is because by that time I'm gonna be moving into a different place. So I didn't know the exact address for the place that I'm moving in, so I kind of messed up by guessing And again, I thought I was going to be able to change it because technically it's not going to be shipped to me until like 3 months from now. But that's not how it works. So whatever, I have a backup plan. But that was really funny. It kind of sucked last night because I was up till 1 in the morning trying to figure that out. But other than that, pretty good week. Pretty chill week. Felt like it was pretty hot outside, but not as hot as the previous week. So
It's still hot.
yeah,
But no, I'm happy for you that you're gonna get it. I think the collector's edition looks very bad, but I have no interest in it at all.
I mean that's my same opinion for the Spider-Man thing, but you're getting that, so
Yeah,
that's fair.
I think that statue infinitely better than a fucking watch, and the other one's more expensive with less content. So
Not really.
there's two things of digital download content. Spider-Man's collector's edition has 14.
But you get more than that, and you get the first expansion. You get a bunch of
That's
pre-order
fair.
stuff.
Okay,
Yeah, you get a lot more stuff than that.
that's fair, I guess. But still, I think it looks pretty terrible, especially for the money. That's my opinion, and we're
That's fair.
entitled to those.
Yes.
So let's not beat around the bush. Let's get into this week's episode. As always, we start the episode with question of the week. Guys listening out there, speaking of guys listening out there, I guess people, better descriptive there. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did achieve 4 new subscribers this week. So again, like we said at the end of the Xbox recording, whoever you are out there, I don't care who you are. Don't care about your names, but I love you for joining this community. Hopefully,
We do care about you, but thank you.
I mean, I don't care like what your name is.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care
Yeah,
to like know your name and all that. But I hope you guys are enjoying the content. Obviously, you're new on here. We got a lot of content. We're on our 54th episode. Got a couple reviews. Got a lot of reactions. We got our open critic stuff, a battle, a fantasy league that we do. We do a lot of stuff here. We try to. We both have full-time jobs. I'm now a student, so we try to get in as much as we can for you guys and still play the games. But anyway, thank you to whoever you are out there. I love you and appreciate you for joining in on this community. Hopefully you engage a little bit more. We're trying to get people to engage a lot more. Give us some questions to talk about. Give us some other things. Hasn't exactly happened yet. But as always, anyone who watches our episodes, whether it be 2 or 20, I love each and every one of you. So keep watching, keep engaged, and maybe we can grow this thing as one whole community. And then you can in 10 years when we pull in 1 million views, you can be like, I was there day one. I'll give you all the credit in the world. So anyway, like we do each and every episode, we start with question of the week. And this week, in celebration of Spider-Man, simple question, Logan.
Mm-hmm.
A Spider-Man cinematic universe battle. Going back to the battles, we haven't done this one in a while. I like to come back around to it every now and then. Anyway, who would win in a fight? Maguire, Garfield, Holland, or Miles? Obviously not the actual human beings, the Spider-Man versions of those.
That's fair.
So we got MCU Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man is what I think they call Maguire's officially. Yeah. And then Spider-Verse Spider-Man. So who would win?
I think it'd be between Holland and Miles, in my opinion. Maguire, absolutely not. I mean, dude, he gets his feelings down. And he can't shoot webs anymore. So let's be honest here. Maguire's the weakest of the bunch, in my opinion. Garfield did end up having some. Well, he did end up saving like a bunch of people. He got a lot of people killed. So he isn't really the most fast person, for sure. Which is sad to say.
He talks too much too.
Yeah, he does. But Holland has a lot of gadgets, and he's the most gadget based Spider-Man out of these bunch of people.
Not anymore. Spoiler alert, by the way, for the end of No Way Home.
That's fair.
Yeah.
True. Well, what are we going to talk about? Are we talking about Holland now, or are we talking about Holland when he had all the stuff?
Just this. I'm not gonna get into the minutia of that. It's just whatever Holland was.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I totally disagree with you. Maguire, yes, he does get his feeling hurts and loses powers. That's a Spider-Man story that's been around forever in all Spider-Man. Maguire takes a beating all the time, and he dishes it out all the time. I think Maguire claps Garfield. I think Maguire and Holland are equally matched. but Miles has electric powers. Who's with me?
Yeah, I know. And
like,
he has invisibility.
yeah,
And
he
he
has
has
invisibility and an electric fucking fuse power. So like, who? And my answer is pretty simple: Miles, just because
I
he has more tools at his disposal.
he has two tools at his disposal. That's
Stick.
invisibility and a wait, stick. What?
I said his dick.
Oh, that's fair. I guess that's three.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my
but
god.
I would think Holland
Sorry, children.
also has an equal chance to fight back because he's a lot more technically advanced compared to Miles. If we're going to talk about him at his more prime, I would say, or I guess he technically hasn't hit his prime because he hasn't really. He just became truly Spider-Man by the end, but still, I think he had a lot more tech behind him. He had a lot more gadgets and everything. He had his like four-legged spider thing he had with the iron suit and everything. Also, just like the fact that he can like control things through technology. I think Holland has a very good chance against Miles. Now, Maguire, no, I don't think so. Miles would destroy Maguire, in my opinion. Um, but Holland, I think Holland has a pretty good chance. I don't know. That's a hard one. I think Holland would have a chance to beat Miles, but I don't know.
Oh man, I think you are forgetting how strong Maguire's Spider-Man was in those movies and how much damage he could take and just keep on coming
My
all the time.
back! My back!
You're
I hurt my
you're
back!
detailing one scene of a technically depowered person that fell off a building. You do that and then come
Who
talk to me
has
about your
his
bat.
feelings hurt and can't shoot webs anymore. Come on, man. Dude, he's the biggest wimp out of all these Spider-Man, in my
I
opinion.
disagree entirely.
But I think Holland maybe could beat Miles, but I do think Miles, just because of the fact he doesn't need technology, I think has the upper hand. So there you go.
I don't know.
But also Holland, I feel like is the smartest out of all of them. I mean, he literally knows how to use Tony Stark's fusion thing to make stuff and all that. So,
Oh, in terms
and
of
he was able
intelligence,
to,
it's
and he was able to
between.
find a cure and everything. I mean, he was the smartest out of all these people
I
here.
mean, it's between
Literally the smartest.
Garfield and Holland for who's the smallest. Who's the
Yeah,
smartest? Garfield's very intelligent in those movies. I may not like
that's
the Amazing
true.
Spider-Man movies,
Yeah,
but they got his intelligence level right. They just got almost everything else about his character wrong, in my opinion. So
I liked his suit. His suit was cool too. I like
yeah, suit is
Garfield's
cool. Yeah.
suit. Yeah, yeah.
Or like I was listening to an argument, and a guy's like, people talk crap on Garfield's Spider-Man. And this is this guy talking, but he's like, they forget he made his own suit. I'm like, okay, so he can sew. That's a positive. It's like, oh, best Spider-Man ever because he can
Technically,
sew.
Holland did too. Now he made his own suit.
Yeah.
Didn't McGuire not make his own suit?
Yes, he did.
To everyone did. What?
They all did. That's why I was like, I
What?
don't understand that argument at all.
Yeah, what the hell? That doesn't make any sense at all. But yeah, I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you between Holland and Miles who would win. I really couldn't because
I still
Holland
think
is
it's Miles.
extremely smart. Holland would be able to figure out something to defeat Miles.
Okay, well
Like,
now
Holland is kinda like
you're bringing pre-planning into it. We're just
true,
talking about straight up.
which that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, straight up street fight. They meet, battle.
Hmm.
I'm saying Miles still. Just not because I like Miles better. I like all these characters in Spider-Man. Well, I mean, okay, I don't like Garfield, but I like the other ones equally. I just think
Like all of them,
Miles.
but yeah,
I think
I don't know.
Maguire is the strongest of all of them, physically speaking. Dude, he lifted up an entire
Not
building
not
off of MJ,
not
all right?
not willpower wise, but yeah, most of the other parts.
One
Yeah.
scene. Why do you detail one scene in the entirety of the trilogy to
Don't turn your eyes.
to negatively affect his entire outlook as Spider-Man? He lifted a fucking building off of MJ as it was collapsing on top of him.
Holland did too. He got crushed in literally
Holland
Homecoming,
got
and he
crushed
literally
by a
got out
couple blocks. I don't want to hear it.
and he almost pulled a ship together by himself.
No, he held a ship from falling apart. Iron Man put it
but
back together.
Okay, true, but he almost
Okay,
completely
and that thing, Maguire stopped a speeding fucking train dead in its tracks.
fair.
Maguire's
That's
very
fair.
strong. They represented his like the actual spider strength very strong. But anyway,
Okay.
Miles is.
Okay.
By the way, we do want to announce something that we're not going to be doing for almost a year now, but we're both very excited about it. So we want you guys to be excited out there. If you didn't listen to 3 or 4 episodes ago, anyway, we introduced a new show topic called Rank 'em. It's very self-explanatory. We go through and we rank franchises and we rank different things. We are going to rank all of the cinematic Spider-Man movies once Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out March of next year, as long as it hits next year. And we're going to go through and rank all 14, 15? 14 to 15 movies, including Morbius and the 2 Venom movies. So
Oh yeah.
I have to watch Morbius, but
I have to watch both the Venom and the Morbius movie,
oh,
so
I've seen both the Venom movies. They're not good.
I need to. Yeah, I'm sure they're not.
But so we're gonna go through and rank all those. I'm very excited about it. Logan was very excited about it when we talked about doing this idea. So look forward to that in about 11 months time. So, but anyway, do we come to a consensus? Miles win.
Yes, I think Miles, if it came to a street fight, like you said, I think he would win. But if Holland had the pre-plan, he could beat Miles. So,
All right. Miles wins. Got it. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the XP Podcast, our weekly video game and pop culture news podcast, where Logan and myself sit down with y'all and talk about all the news stories and happenings inside and out of the video game world. We post a new episode each and every week at 8 a.m. Each and every Monday at 8 a.m. except this episode because there was a lot going on. So, but you get this episode Tuesday. We apologize for that. You can find us, obviously, on most of the popular podcasting services, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. If you enjoy what we're doing here on the XP Podcast, please support us over on our Patreon, where you get to be a part of our weekly discussions and give us your opinions on everything we talk about and everything we don't. You'll also be able to find all of our uploads there, along with any exclusive episodes we may post. Links for that, as always, are in the description down below, or you can simply go to patreon.com and search Experience Point, spelled capital X, capital B, ERIENCEPOINT. However, if you don't have any money to send our way, don't worry. We still love and appreciate you for listening to us and being a part of what is hopefully a growing community. Oh my god, that Sonic Blast is hitting me hard. I'm just breathing. I'm dying. You can also go over to our YouTube channel. We can get this show and all of our shows in video format and see our smiling faces each and every week. If you do, please don't forget to give us a like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification icon so you can be aware of everything we post when we decide to post it. The catch up for you, episode 53 is out. We talked about our Xbox Games Showcase predictions. I'm going to look those up and see how many we got right, how many we got wrong. PlayStation announcing Ratchet & Clank a mere 6 days after the showcase. MetaQuest 3 being announced. Redfall developers didn't even want to finish the game, but we also talked about so much more. And both our Summer Game Fest and Xbox Games Showcase reactions, all live for all of you to go out there and enjoy. Please enjoy the Xbox One. It took us forever to get through that one.
yeah.
We had so many difficulties. Mother Nature was spiting me and Logan all night. Anyway, with all that out of the way, though, let's get into this week's show. In our points of the show, we are giving you our spoiler cast for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, our review and discussion of Summer Game Fest and the Xbox Game Showcase. Then, and around the point, we're going to go through and run down the future game showcase and what was in there, what we liked and what we didn't. Then, in LTR, we're going to give you the reviews for this week's games. But before we get to all that, it's time for what is and forever will be the rundown, where we catch up on all things pop culture that we've been doing, whether it be gaming, TV shows, books, or movies. It doesn't matter to us, because guess what? We like it all and love to talk about it. So, Mr. Birdman, what are some of the things you've been doing?
Well, so I have a pretty decently busy week. I decided to, after the Summer Games Fest, which we'll be talking about soon. For a certain game I put on my fantasy league called Lies of P, which is basically a spiritual successor, or kind of like they kind of had a lot of what's the word for it? Inspiration from Bloodborne, and it's basically like what if Bloodborne was set in the Pinocchio universe, because it's about Pinocchio and you play as Pinocchio. And it sounds really lame, but when you actually go look at it and go play it, it's really freaking good. There's a demo out right now on just about everything, other than obviously Switch. but it's on everything, and you can go play it right now, and it's like a solid 2 to 3 hour demo, depending on how long it takes you. It took me about 2.5 hours because it's pretty difficult. I'll say you have to fight two bosses in it, and I got my ass whooped in the second boss like a ton of times, but this game is awesome. I cannot wait for the full release. It was fantastic. It ran amazing, surprisingly, especially because it's an Unreal Engine 4 game, which for some reason online, if you look it up, it's really confusing trying to figure out what engine this game was made on because there's a bunch of people that said, oh, this is Unreal Engine 5. But then I'm like, man, it doesn't really look like a truly Unreal Engine 5 game. But then no, it's a lot of people are saying it's actually Unreal Engine 4. So it's an Unreal Engine 4 game. That's what I'm going to come to the conclusion with. But I do think it still looks insanely good for being Unreal Engine 4, and it runs really good, surprisingly, especially me playing it on PC. It runs flawlessly. They literally, right when you start up the game, it does a quick little shader compilation thing, which by the way takes only like 2 seconds. And then you get into the game, and it runs super amazing. I played it at like, I was actually playing on my TV today, and it was at 4K 120. I was playing it on there, and it was beautiful. It looks super good. But yeah, it's fantastic. Go check it out. I'm very excited for it to come out. It's coming to Game Pass day one. Um, but yeah, I think I'm actually really pumped for it now. I think it was actually really fun, really interesting. Especially the differences because me trying to go back to more classic Souls like because I played a lot of Elden Ring and Elden Ring is completely different than this. But I do think it's really fun. It's definitely very difficult. I got my ass whooped so many times in this demo, but it is really good, and I think they really have something here. So I'm not only hoping that it scores well, but I'm also hoping I'll enjoy it because I'm really excited for it to come to Game Pass. It's a very good game to come to Game Pass day one. So, do you have any thoughts, Mike?
I'm happy for you.
Oh, that's it. Dang. It doesn't even look slightly interesting to you. You like Bloodborne.
Yeah. No.
Oh my god. All right. So
I don't know why. I just like I saw it and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Bloodborne is probably better, so why play this? I can go back and play Bloodborne eventually.
yeah, I mean if you want to play 30 FPS at 900p, yeah,
I'm
sure.
gonna be playing Starfield at 30 frames a second,
I
so
know, not anymore.
no, I am. My computer
Yeah,
can't run
oh,
this thing at anything stronger than that, but
that's true.
I run at
Wait, how
1080p
do you get a
30.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I was gonna
Um
upgrade my computer, but my car decided it had other plans for my money, so
that's fair.
yeah.
But other than that, this week, I watched a really, really bad 80s horror movie
Oh shit! I
called
was supposed to look this up. You told me about it yesterday.
yeah,
Let me look it up
yeah,
real quick.
look up it's called The Chopping Mall. And this movie is it's really bad. Like it's not a good horror movie, but it seems to have a cult following with it because I actually listened to a podcast called Dead Meat, or I think they even have a channel called Dead Meat as well, where they do kill counts and stuff. And actually, in their intro, they even have one of the lines from this movie in it, which is it's like whoever did this, I'm gonna find him, and they're dead meat. And I'm like, dude, it's a weird movie. I'll tell you that it's dumb. It is really really dumb, especially all the kills in the movie. It's like what the hell.
I don't
But it was
recognize
funny.
anybody in here.
Yeah, I didn't
Oh,
recognize
Nick
anyone either.
Seagal. Is that Steven Seagal's brother? Hold on.
But it's a really bad movie. But go watch it because it's really funny. It's so bad that it's funny and it's a good watch in my opinion. I think it's on Amazon, but it's only free with ads or whatever, which kind of sucked because when we watched it, it had ads pop up a couple times during the movie, and I'm like, ugh, God, like, why can't you just put all the ads at the beginning of the movie to make our lives a little bit easier? I don't like having ads in the middle of a movie, but yeah, go check it out. It's a funny little horror movie. It's a very cheesy one, and they must have had a pretty good budget for this movie because I mean they had like full blown robots in it that they made that actually did all which it's really funny because like you clearly could tell these robots were really slow. So what they did was they sped up the footage to make the robots look like they moved faster than they did. It looks so bad. Also the laser effects when they're shooting laser. Oh, it's so dumb. But again, worth a watch.
Yeah, I'm looking
But
at the director now. It was his second full length directorial movie, and he's still making movies. He had one come out this year, or has one come out this year, and all of them look like the exact same B horror movies. Not the exact same, but like they're all B horror movies. I don't see one.
really,
The only prominent movie that I know is quality wise a little above that is The Witches of Eastwick. That's the only
really,
one. Oh, sorry, never mind. The Witches of Eastwick is the official one. This is The Witches of Brestwick. He also has a movie called Sexapede. There's also
I guess
uh,
that makes sense because there was a lot of nudity in this movie,
there's also
so
Piranhaconda. That's a classic.
it's one of my favorites.
Oh, there's also Sexy Wives Sensations. Apparently, he has a new pseudonym that he goes by of Sam Pepperman.
Oh my god,
Yeah, his 2023 movie is Killbots.
Killbots.
Don't know if it's out
Dude,
yet.
the premise of this movie is so dumb because like they have these robots to protect this mall, but like
I'm sorry.
this
You want to know? You want to know what the tagline for Sexapede is?
what is it?
Sexually bugged.
God,
Woo!
woo! That sounds like a good movie. Jesus, dude, that is. Oh, but yeah, no, like straight up, this mall has like spaceship doors too that close at night. Like, I'm like, what kind of mall is this? Like, it was just weird. The whole movie too just had no direction. It was just all over the place. Very weird. But so I'll get to my last thing real quick for what I did this week. I decided to do a little bit more adventuring with VR. This week I actually didn't play any Zelda, which that doesn't mean I'm bored of it. I just kind of wanted to do something else. I don't like to just if I'm playing a game for a very long time, I start to be like, okay, I think I'm going to start not liking this game if I play it more. So I wanted to take a little bit more of a break and actually play something different. So I went to go play some VR this week. And I actually messed with my PC and actually started messing and playing some games on my PC and everything. I first started off with the AirLink, or I think it was AirLink. Yeah, AirLink, where I wirelessly connected my PC to my headset. It works pretty well. But if you go anywhere above like 72 hertz on games, it really struggles to like keep a connection, like a very good smooth connection. But if you do 72 hertz, it looks really good and it works insanely well on the PC with AirLink. But it's also because I don't have the world's greatest internet. I don't have gigabit internet. I have like I think like 500 megabits or whatever. It's not even all the way there, but you know, it's good enough. It was cool. So I ended up buying a cord, which is like a cardinal sin for me because I really like wireless more than wired. But I really wanted to play some PC games, and I also really want to play Half-Life Alyx like really bad. Too bad it's still $60. So I don't know if I want to cough up $60 yet for it. I'm kind of hoping I can get it on sale at some point. But I did get it all hooked up and messed with. I even tested doing it from the Oculus to the Steam VR, and I got it working. So whenever I do get it, I will be playing Half-Life Alyx at some point. But I did try out some games. I did play Bone Lab, which I absolutely love on the Quest. Even by itself, I think it's an amazing game. Um, and I played it on PC, and it looks so damn good. It looks like it does look better by a lot, but I do think I don't think it's as like mind blowing as I was expecting it to be. I guess like difference wise, I do think there is some better things with it, but I think even on the Quest, I still think it looks pretty damn good, surprisingly. Then I played Blades and Sorcery, which does look way better on PC, and it just is just way more enjoyable than it is on the Quest standalone. Because this Quest standalone one kind of struggles, and you can't have as much people on the screen at once, whereas the PC you can have like as many as you want. It's great. Um, and then two other games I tried actually standalone that I ended up picking up this week was a game that's starting to blow up recently. It's only a $20 VR game, but it's called Battle Talent. It's a roguelite, but it's physics based. Which is kind of like how Blades and Sorcery is. It's a physics based like sword fighting game. Blades and Sorcery is more like a sandbox game, whereas Battle Talent is an actual roguelite game. and it's really fun, and it is quite a workout to play because before we did the Xbox showcase yesterday, I played it for like an hour, and dude, I was sweating. It was actually kind of crazy how much I was sweating playing that game. It was great though. It's awesome. And another game I played, which is probably one of the best looking VR games I played on my Quest, and I think a lot of people will agree with this, and it's on PlayStation VR 2 as well. It's called Red Matter 2. Insanely beautiful game. It's from what I played so far, it's like, about this like space adventure, and it's very physics based, and it's more of like a puzzle-ish game, which is kind of weird for me. I don't really like puzzle games, but this game really caught my eye because it looks insanely good, and there is some combat that you do get to do later on, which I didn't get to do yet, but I was just like in the first beginning part of the game, and dude, even on the Quest, it looks. I think this is the best Quest looking game on Quest right now. Like it looks amazing. And I've seen some videos of it on like PSVR and PC2. It looks even better. Like it's fantastic. It's awesome. It's a $30 game, but I actually really like it a lot. And so yeah, I don't know why, but all of a sudden this week I've just been really wanting to play VR. Oh, and I have one more thing. I ended up picking up new controllers for my Quest. And no, I did not spend $300 on these, but these are the Quest Pro controllers. Which, by the way,
They should be
what?
called Quest Bro.
Quest Bro. But I picked these up because of one reason, and that's mainly because I play a lot of VR, but also like these controllers actually track themselves. They have chips built inside of them, so instead of like the cameras on the headset tracking them, this tracks itself. So I can put this behind my head and it will straight up like always track itself, and I think it's kind of a game changer because a lot of people say like, "Oh, it's not that big of a difference." You play like games like Bone Lab or, for example, this Battle Talent game, dude. When you're trying to swing a sword, it just connects way more than like on the Quest. What it does is it loses its connection and it guesses where it is behind you, and then as soon as you bring it back, it just kind of like pops into existence, like where your hand is, and it just doesn't feel right. It's not bad per se, but for me, who plays a lot of Quest games, and especially I like Bone Lab quite a bit, this is a game changer. These controllers, like these are awesome. They're also rechargeable, and they feel really good. They have better haptics in them too, and dude, they're awesome. Like I don't recommend you spend $300 on them, but if you could pick them up like I did for like $80, totally worth it. Trust me. Like I think these are a game changer. These are way better, and these will work with the Quest 3, which I probably will most likely be getting. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm excited that these work with my Quest too, because I didn't want to buy stupid Quest Pro. I'm good. So yeah, that was a cool little pickup. I forgot. I almost forgot to bring that up, but yeah, these controllers are awesome. So, but yeah, that's pretty much what I've done this week. So
Well, I have played a game, but we're gonna move on. So, other than
that's
that,
fair.
um, watch some TV. Nothing of interest. New season of Never Have I Ever came out. I love that show. It's a rom com, so Logan would immediately hate
Yep.
it. But been watching that. Again, mostly just, had a lot of schoolwork, did a lot of work, didn't really do too much. I'm just taking a mental break, getting ready for Final Fantasy. Which, by the way, I did download the demo. I'm not sure if I'm gonna play it or not.
Ooh.
Not the
Oh,
no,
the demo?
yeah, the
Oh,
demo. No,
I was like, dang,
no,
it wasn't good.
I'm playing Final Fantasy day
Dude, just
one.
play the demo because it's gonna move over.
Yes,
All you
but
gotta do is just do the prologue and then just wait.
I'm
Like it's
I have
saved.
to wait 10 days to keep playing it. Or
Oh
I could.
shucks. Oh
Okay, so
jeez.
here's my plan.
Oh.
Here's what I might do. The day
Yeah,
before it comes out, I might play the demo so then I can just kind of roll into the next. But I don't want to have
that's
to
a good
play
idea.
I don't want to play 2 hours and then wait 10 days. And then
That's smart.
I'm gonna feel obligated to replay the prologue because I want a continuous experience.
I
So
mean,
I don't know
I
what I'm
feel
gonna
that
do.
I
I
feel that
downloaded
because
because it's such a story driven game. Like it is all about the story, and it's like
yeah.
I kind of like I know I'm gonna like this game unless it literally just comes out and it sucks, which it doesn't it looks like it's going to be one of the best Final Fantasies we've gotten in a long time. So I'm not worried about that. But I know I'm going to play those 2 hours, and I'm just going to want to keep playing it. So I'd rather just wait the 9 days by the time we get everything uploaded tonight, than I'm going to have to wait to just be able to play the game for 10 hours straight, like I plan on doing Thursday when it comes out. Like I plan on playing that game for a long time. So I don't know,
feel
man.
that because like after I played Liza P, I kind of was like, oh, I kind of forgot it was a demo because it was 2 hours. I played it for 2 hours, and then when I got done with the 2 hours, I'm like, oh, damn.
Now,
I was like, well, now I gotta wait.
when does Liza P come out again? That comes out in September, right?
Like September, I think.
Yeah. See, that's a little different because like.
Oh damn, dude! I will not be able to play Liza because I have Starfield. That's gonna be like all freaking September for me.
See, but that's a little different because like there's a long enough wait that you probably won't mind replaying those 2 hours. This is only 9 to 10 days wait that I can literally just wait that out. Like I can go do something else before that comes out. Like I remember when Final Fantasy VII had the demo, that was only the opening chapter, so it was like 45 minutes, and that came out like 2 months before the game came out. So I jumped in it, got myself excited, and I'm like, all right, I'll be there day one for the game. I can't wait. This is like, why would I play the demo for 2 hours? And then, again, I don't have to replay it, but I'm going to feel obligated to. So I don't know. I downloaded it while I was at work, and I was like, I might like open it up for 5 seconds just to see how it looks. That might be what I do. Just see how good it looks, But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, there is a game that's no longer being played, and so that's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, so is it time?
It is time.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, September 19th. there's no way I'm gonna be able to play Liza P.
Hey, you get it.
Damn it!
You get it 5 days early. I actually might pre-order. No, because you have to buy the.
Well, you know what may suck? Walmart still says it's gonna be delivered on September 6th, which I'm gonna be very pissed about because I'm paying for the Constellation Edition, and it's still saying they haven't updated it, and it still says it's gonna be delivered September 6th, which I'm gonna hope they fix that because I'm gonna be really mad that I buy this edition and then I don't even get it 5 days early.
You know what? I'm not buying the game. I get it for free. So
exactly,
I get it for $15. So I'll just wait till the 6th to play it. Whatever. I'll be a week late. I got a month and a half before Spiderman comes out that I'm just going to play Starfield. So, but anyway,
I gotta beat Zelda. And I gotta beat Starfield. Well, good thing is I'm not playing. Well, no, I am playing Spider-Man. What the fuck am I talking about?
I was like,
I have so much going on in these next few months. Damn.
I really don't. I realize that. I mean, I got Final Fantasy 16. That's gonna be a long
and then
one.
I have Liza P, which I really do want to play. So
see, I don't have to worry about that. So it's fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't think there's anything coming out in August that I'm gonna hop into, or July. I don't know why I skipped July.
Well,
but
we do have something coming out this month. From the Ubisoft thing.
Comes out
Not this month, next month, I think. They said summer. So
well, summer lasts till August, so
I'll have to look it up.
Well, don't tell me because I haven't watched the showcase yet, so I guess it doesn't matter.
I mean, you're not gonna lie, you're not gonna really all they did was just show I guess this is kind of spoiling for us that we're gonna be talking about this next week, but I guess you're gonna be getting some news here. But yeah, X Defiance coming out this summer. They're having a open beta June 21st through the 23rd, which I'm very excited for. I can't wait for this game.
Horrible date.
I hope it's actually really good. Where the hell is the date, dude? They don't even have like a. I will put beta. That's my problem. There we go.
I will be able to play it on the 21st, so that's cool. But yeah, no, the 22nd is a no-go for me. I'm a little busy that day. But anyway, while Logan pulls that up, I'll introduce what we're doing this week, even though I already introduced it. But anyway, this is Potts, also known as our point of the show. So welcome to Potts. We're going to save the showcases for a second. Logan, are you ready to go? Are you still trying to look stuff up?
Oh, I'm good. You keep going.
Okay. My bad. Sorry.
I might just bring up the update randomly. You're good.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
I'm just looking it up.
Surprise me. Mm-hmm. So, if you guys listened to last week's episode, you know I saw Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I gave it a S tier ranking on our new review scale. I absolutely adored it. I absolutely loved the movie. And this week, Logan's going to spend just a little bit talking about what he overall thought about it. And then we're going to dive head deep into the rectum of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So, Mr. Birdman, we haven't really talked about it. We talked about it a little bit, so I already know like your overall opinions, but let the audience know what you thought.
Of Spider-Man.
No, of Transformers. What the fuck you think we're
Oh,
doing here?
Transformers is an S tier movie. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not seeing that movie. Spider-Man S tier, easy peasy. Let's just start off strong here. It's an S tier movie, absolutely phenomenal. Um, I think the story is fantastic. I would arguably say, even though this is a part one of part two, or part one of two, um, movie, I think that it does have a beginning to end story. Again, I'm not talking about any spoilers or anything, but it does have a beginning to end story, and I think it's actually really interesting and fantastic. It kind of has that same feeling that Guardians of the Galaxy had, where they focused on a different character than what we are used to throughout most of the movie, in my opinion. And it's just fantastic. They did an insanely good job melding all these different art styles, just like they did in the first movie. The music's phenomenal. The animation is just beautiful. I think the action is fantastic. The story was really, really good. Um, there's not really much negative I can say about it, really. The only slight negative I would probably give to this movie is I don't think the villain is as interesting as Fisk was in the first one, because Fisk I felt like fit more into the theme of what the first movie was all about. Whereas this one is just kind of like he's just evil, like there's not really much more to him other than he's just evil. So, but there is another kind of villain too in this. There's technically two, I guess. And I do think altogether it's still definitely an S tier movie. I don't think it's enough to make it less than that. I think it's a fantastic movie. Um, yeah, that's all I really can say without trying to spoil anything. It's just a fantastic movie. If you haven't gone to watch it, go watch it. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a great movie. You will not regret it. I actually kind of forgot how that this movie was longer than the other one because went to go rewatch the first movie just 2 days ago or so, and I was like, oh man, this was only an hour and 40 minutes, and then this movie was 2 hours and 30 minutes because I was like, man, that felt short, and I'm like, oh yeah, because this one was 2 hours and 30 minutes, the other one was an hour and 40. But I want to go back and watch the first one. And by the way, there's some really cool connections in the first movie. Again, I'm not going to bring up any spoilers, but go back and watch the first one if you haven't after watching the one, because there's some really awesome connections that kind of explain some very interesting things that get brought up in the sequel. So, yeah. S tier, easiest thing, just like Guardians of the Galaxy, easiest thing I've ever had to review. S tier, easy.
Yeah, I'll disagree a little bit. Not on the ranking, obviously. I've already given my ranking. But obviously the movie has a beginning, middle, and end, but I do think the ending comes pretty abrupt. If you have no clue.
For one character, for character, yes, but for another character, not so much. I think they kind of answer a question that started at the very beginning of the movie.
I mean,
So
yeah,
technically,
but
a story was beginning to end. It just wasn't all of the
yeah,
story.
but
It was
as you're sitting
just
there kind of
someone's
like
story.
put yourself in a person that doesn't know this is a part 1. You're sitting there watching it. Things are
Mhm.
transpiring. The movie still feels like it's got an hour to go. And then boom, just black screens it. Now I don't care. I thought the ending of the movie was awesome. Again, it very much was the Infinity War, even though that I think is a more complete movie than maybe this is in terms of all the different character arcs that are going on. Um, but yeah, I do think it is a little abrupt with how it ends. Again, I don't care, but I know for people out there that have zero clue or don't pay attention to the stories behind the movies that didn't know this wasn't going to be the conclusion. I feel like sometimes you probably could have left the theater feeling a little shortchanged if you didn't know going into it. And then I do have a problem with one, not a problem, I have a slight issue with one character who I think is a little underbaked. But I thought the villain was actually pretty cool. I liked the villain. the main villain, the one that the plot is being driven by. I mean, he started out, like I said, as like a joke, and then they reveal his motivations behind what he's doing, and then he essentially delves into a lust for power, and his lust for power is what drives the narrative forward in a way. So I think the villain's cool. Is it better than Kingpin or Fisk? I don't know. I don't know why I said Kingpin or Fisk. Those are the same character. But yeah, I think again, it's almost impossible to complain about any of these movies because like what are you complaining about? Like what are you honestly complaining about? Anyway,
Yeah.
so that was it. Now we are going to spoil it. Ladies and gentlemen, walking through the
Yes.
official spoiler cast. Obviously, it is going to be time stamped in the write up, so you can skip right to it if you want, or you can skip over it if you don't want. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to spoil Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And we've talked about this off stream or off episode. What do you think of the big twist?
Which one? Are you talking about the very end?
I mean, it's the only real twist in my mind in the movie. It's the only real, like, gotcha part of the movie. Yes, the very end.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's some revelations, but I don't really think of those as twists. Like, there's the big twist at the end of the movie that if you are paying attention, you can see it happening. But if you're not paying attention, I don't see how you could just naturally come to the conclusion of what's happening until the movie tells you what's going on.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I love it, man. I love it was really, it wasn't like I got it decently quickly, but like it took me a little bit to get there, but I thought it was really awesome. I especially love this twist at the very end after going back and rewatching the first movie because there's a specific scene that really makes this scene like as a home run. Like it's awesome.
yeah,
So
it's the Spider Sense scene
yeah, where it literally changes colors, where
because his
literally it
destiny has changed.
shows,
It
yeah,
was
his
the
destiny was
moment
supposed to
his
be a Prowler, but he ended up not being
Well,
Prowler.
also, I don't know if you realize the spider that bites him is glitching out in the first movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Never even
I didn't
thought
even
about
think
it.
about that either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. And then there was also just so many references in the first movie to that universe. Like for example, when he falls off the roof for the first time and he hits the numbers, it literally has a 4 and a 2 right next to him. Kept kind of teasing that like this isn't from his universe. Isn't that kind of weird? Like, so I love that, and I really do like the little twist at the end. I didn't get it like probably as fast as you, but I did get it like especially when I noticed that like Aaron came in, and I'm like, well, first thing first, when they brought up the note, like she didn't know who Spider-Man was, and when his uncle Aaron came in, I was like, where's the other Miles though? And I kept going, and I'm like, okay, where's the other Miles though? Like the other Miles has to still exist. He didn't just disappear. So I'm like, where is he? And so yeah, I as soon as he got knocked out, I'm like, I had a feeling, a really heavy feeling that was Miles. But then when he finally came down and started walking towards him, I'm like, all right, yep, it's Miles. That's awesome. I love that. That's so freaking cool. Um, I just love that like it shows like the consequences of like how removing that spider had such a big impact in that universe where literally like it's basically just in pure chaos. It was just all fire, there was crime everywhere. Obviously Miles is a completely different person, and instead of his uncle Aaron dying, it's his dad that dies.
Well,
It's awesome.
Miles, if you per the comics, and again, I'm not saying the comics are if de facto law here. These are adaptations; they can do whatever they want. But per the comics, what you see in Earth 42 is who Miles is supposed to be. He's supposed to be the Prowler.
Yeah.
And the creation of Miles Morales in 1610, that is the only version of Miles who's a hero per the comics.
Yeah.
So yeah, I recognized it when it flashed Earth 42 on the screen. Again, that's to me, that's the movie telling you what's happening. It's easy to miss, but to me, I was like, oh shit, I should have caught that earlier, but I did. But yeah, man, I absolutely loved it. Like when Peyton had no clue what was going on, by the way. I started freaking out when Earth 42 popped up, and I was like hitting her, and she's like, what? I'm like, he's going to a different universe. And she was like, I don't know what that means. And I was like, do you even watch these movies? Honestly. But I adored it. I thought it was so good. And it was I don't know, man. Like I said, I only have a problem, not even a problem, just like I wish they would have done better with that one character. And I guess we're in the middle of spoiler
Well, now we can
talk.
say, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Spider-Woman is done very well in this movie. I
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was the only character who I thought didn't get a decent enough, detailed background or reasoning why she was happening. Like as the movie keeps going on and events keep transpiring, most of the Spider-Men in the whole like society don't see some of the bad things that Miguel is doing. Miguel
Mm-hmm.
O'Hara, being Spider-Man 2099. So they don't really see what's happening behind the scenes, obviously until the very, very end when there's that huge meeting and the big, the big standoff goes down. But like she's there and she's present for every single thing. And the movie never, at least to me, justifies why she keeps going behind him and why she keeps not going behind his back. Like why she keeps standing behind him. Like there's no reason. She doesn't get any benefit from it. She's just blindly following. And I was a little annoyed by that characteristics of, again, in the comics, is a fairly strong independent character. And so I was a little let down by.
I think towards the end, she's kind of started to switch up a little bit because I mean, she
I
literally
mean,
actively watched Gwen do what she did, and she did nothing about it. And she didn't even say anything either. She just kind of watched it happen.
yeah,
So
but
maybe I think she's starting to see something too.
I think that's
Maybe
the
towards
thing.
the
Like
end.
she's such a like a pulled back character. And again, maybe this is me bringing in my knowledge of what happens or who she's supposed to be, or who she is based off of, and comparing to that and seeing how, in my mind, it doesn't. Her character in this movie does not hold up to a character in the comics. But by the way, I don't know if you know this, but actually, Spider Woman in the comics is a direct clone of Peter Parker. It happens during
Huh.
the Clone Saga. So, which is one of like the things that started the Spider Verse. So it happens like kind
Hmm.
of ipso facto inside the Spider Verse. Because people don't really think or don't really know the Spider Verse didn't really become a thing until the 2010s.
Hmm.
Like it's a late instance, the Spider Verse becoming a thing and all that. And Miles was only introduced in 2011, and now he's
2011. So he said.
yeah,
Oh,
I
okay,
think
because
so.
it cut out. It cut out for a second.
Yeah,
That's why I didn't hear you.
I may be off on the year, but it's fairly recent in terms of like the grand scale of comic books. So it's cool to see Miles
Yeah.
progress so far. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Yeah, that was my only. I just thought her character wasn't as well done as I would have wanted to. I think all the other characters, I mean, are absolutely fantastic.
I thought Peter Parker was a little lackluster too in this movie. I feel like he was just far too on the comedy side the entire movie than he was in the previous one, where he had a more soft side to him. But I feel like in this one he was really I get it that he has a kid, and I really appreciate that they showed that character arc now that he's changed a lot. But I feel like they didn't do any like seriousness with him, and he was more just beyond heavy on the side of comedy than he was like on any way like being serious.
I mean,
You know,
he had
I don't
the
remember him doing one other than the serious moments of him of Miles realizing the stuff that he's done and him realizing that he kept a secret behind his back, and then also realizing that he accidentally gave away his position when he was running away. But like, I don't think he was like I think he was a little too comedy heavy this movie compared to what he was, and that's a nitpick in my opinion. I don't think he was a bad character. I didn't dislike him. It was just more like I felt like, especially after rewatching Into the Spider Verse, I felt like he was far more lenient on the like heavy comedy side. This movie, that was the one character I thought was a little off. Everyone else felt fine to me. I was a little sad also not to see everyone from the first movie. We did get to at least see one of them, which was what's her name? No, what? P,
oh, the robot lady.
yeah, what's her name? It's like Penetra. I don't know how it's
Pen-
something Parker.
I think it's
Uh,
Penelope, isn't it?
think so.
Anyway,
But yeah,
I mean, we see them all at
um,
the end. They're
no, I
there.
know. That's why I'm hyped for the
Yeah.
next one because as soon as they showed up at the end, I'm like, yes, dude. I love all of them, especially going back and rewatching Into the Spider Verse. I love that we get Nicolas Cage back as Noir Spider-Man. I can't wait. It's fantastic. So
I mean, but I think you're kind of forgetting about the huge, like, impactful, one of the most impactful scenes in the movie that is because of, OG Peter Parker when he talks about why he has Mayday, you know? the reason he had his child is because of Miles, because he wanted that kid to essentially be as strong as Miles was as a person. So like that's his whole
Oh yeah,
arc
yeah.
that's like the resolution to his arc for the reason of having which by the way, I love that the Mayday Parker was even in this movie. I love her in this movie. Mayday Parker is the
Hmm.
name of his kid, by the way.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh, well,
yes,
oh no, I especially love the punk rock thing and his one line. He's like, "Yeah, you fight the power. I respect that, kid." Yeah, dude, he's actually one of my favorite characters in this
Obi.
movie. Punk rock, dude. Obi is one
Obi's
of my
cool. Oh,
favorite
Hobie.
people in this
Sorry,
time movie.
Hobie. Not.
Yeah, he is hilarious. I think I especially just love how just in general, this entire movie does such a good job of mixing all these different animation styles into one. It's insane how many different art styles they did in this movie. It's insane. Because every time he shows up, I love that it's like this newspaper cutout look to him. Like his guitar has like rough cutouts of like a paper around it and everything. It looks like literally someone just straight up cut some newspaper out and put it behind it and everything. It looks awesome. He's just hilarious in my opinion. I think he's awesome. I especially love all the little details of like him basically building that watch for Gwen, because like you notice at the very beginning when he's going through, he's picking up all these different things and everything, and that's why later on, whenever he says "I quit," he broke the original one, but he made a brand new one and gave it to Gwen because he wasn't for the whole Miguel thing anymore. He didn't want to be a part of it. So that's cool. I like that little detail. I also just love that now I believe that Chance the Rapper is going to be, or not Chance, no, Childish Gambino is going to be the Prowler in Tom Holland's thing. I 100% believe that's what it's going to be because he literally says in Homecoming that he's like, oh hey Miles, don't go out. Like he literally that's Uncle Aaron. That's him. So honestly, dude, I really hope he actually does end up being Prowler in the Holland shows because he would be the perfect. I mean, it's perfect. It makes sense. So I don't know. I kind of hope that actually ends up being
I
a
mean, why
thing.
would he not be? Like that's
There's
he is
some
the
people out there
pro.
that don't believe it. They just think it's just like a little thing, but like it makes sense because like why would they pick him and why would they put him in this scene
Like he is the
if he
prowler though.
wasn't
So
Prowler? Yeah,
it's a.
like he is. Yeah. So
But
I don't know.
let's go through some of the smaller side characters before we get to the big couple ones,
Hmm.
and the big three. I'll call it the big three of the movie. One shout out I want to give is to Scarlet Spider, Ben Riley, played by Andy Samberg in this movie, and he is a very sad, depressing Spider-Man. In his like comic run, everything bad happens to this man, and I thought they fucking did this beautifully. He was just
Yeah.
sad boy Spider-Man, and they played it. They went for comedy, sad boy, and it worked when it probably shouldn't have worked. And I think the writing just nailed it out because they didn't bring it on too heavy. They just threw it in every now and then, like, oh, I'm sad and depressed, and it was just funny and hysterical. We talked about Hobie. I thought Hobie was I think he's cool. I don't love him as much as everyone else loves him out there. I think people are getting a little too hung up on the fact that he just helps out the main characters and are focusing more on that and less about just his overall development through the movie. I was fine with him, but I wasn't like in love with him.
Hmm.
I think people are like, oh, at the end of the day, he did help out, which makes him better overall. I guess I can see that. I guess I can kind of get on board and read that, but
But
I,
he's also just a funny character, and he's
he's just
just
so
like,
different. I think that's what it is.
yeah,
He's
he's
so
very different.
different.
Yeah. And then he's just like the entire time, he's like, yeah, fuck the power, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't trust the government and everything. I don't know. He had a funny like way of like doing things. He was just an interesting character, but he was also really smart, clearly, because like he knew what he was doing the entire time when he helps the main character at the end, like helping Gwen get the watch so that she can go to the different universes and help Miles. It was him that made that happen. He's the one who took all the pieces in the lab and built that and gave it to Gwen. So
I did love
I don't know.
his, let me call it badgering in a good way, of getting
Yeah.
Miles to finally break.
Yeah.
Like that's the big pivotal scene when Miguel has him trapped and everyone's freaking out and Obi's just like, "Yes, do it. Do it.
Do it.
Do
Yeah.
it." It's essentially like the Emperor, "Do it."
Do it.
Yeah, it was cool. I do like, again, I don't hate him at all. I just, I don't love him as much as, the internet loves him out there right now. Because I thought,
That's fair.
his whole down with the establishment thing, while on brand for punk rock, was a little derivative. And I was like, okay, I get it. He's punk rock Spider-Man. Punk rock was born from, like, downing the establishment in America and other countries. I get it. It's a little on the nose for me, but it was
I mean,
fine. I didn't hate
his
it.
whole like style too, his like art style was very driven on that kind of
Yeah.
meaning behind it, where like down with the government, because it's all like this paper cutouts and stuff.
Yeah. So, like
So
I said, I get it. I don't hate it at all. I just don't love it as much as other people because I thought it was a little on the nose for
yeah,
what they were going for. All right, what do we think about characters probably play? There's a lot of P's in that one.
yeah.
Probably play a prominent role in the upcoming Beyond the Spider-Verse. Pavatar, the Indian Spider-Man. Thought he was the first essentially universe you saw in the movie, outside
hmm
of Gwen's and outside of Miles. What do you think about him? He doesn't have a huge role to play, but he's there. He's in the background and things. And I really liked him. I thought they captured his character fairly well. I don't know a whole lot about him. He's not super prominent in the whole Spider-Verse saga, but he is in there. So I did think they did a good job representing him, being a much younger Spider-Man than a lot of the other ones outside of Miles, obviously. So he's also not taken seriously, which is probably why he obviously goes along with Miles at the end of the movie. I mean, also, yeah, because he saved, the person who was supposed to die. But
hmm
what do you think about him?
I liked him. I mean, he's very cocky. Very thinking he's just the best. Just because of what he is. But I thought he was pretty funny. I don't think he had a lot of like deep characteristics to him. He was just more just like he was kind of plain on paper. Like if you write it down real quick, he's a cocky know-it-all, or a cocky. Yeah, probably, actually no, yeah, cocky know-it-all. Pretty much is what he was. Like he thinks he's the best. He acts like he's like one of those people that try to sell you something in a pyramid scheme where he's like I wake up every day and my hair just looks like this and stuff like that, and he's like, and oh, I'm trying to get this cop's daughter and stuff. I mean, he literally is. He's basically a fuck boy. That's what he is. He's the fuck boy of
It's
the movie.
awesome. I love it.
But it is great. I think he's fantastic. I like the use of like the rings he had his arms and everything. I thought that was pretty badass. Damn, he's like what's that one movie that came out like a year or two
Shang-Chi?
ago? Yeah, that's what it reminded me of
How
a
the fuck
lot
you
with
forget
the
about
rings.
Shang-Chi? It's one of the few things they did right
I
in
know
Phase
that's
4.
fair, but it feels like that was like forever ago.
It does
So
feel a
I don't
while ago.
know.
Plus,
Yeah.
it's probably because Phase 4 lasted an eon. So,
hmm
all right, what do we think about how do I want to phrase this without sounding super douchey? Um, Miles's mother, and in my opinion, making a stance as one of the most attractive animated characters of all time. I don't know why.
Really.
I fell in love with her. Mostly her attitude, her demeanor, obviously her characterization. Like, yeah, she's a very pretty animated character, but I just thought she just played very well as Miles's mom. And it was dude, the scene where he has a B in Spanish was the
Yeah, yeah.
funniest shit
I
I've ever
love
seen in
that.
my life. Cause I don't know, I just laughed my ass off because I can imagine. Obviously, I can't speak as first person view of that, but I can imagine that's probably how Latino families think. Like if your son fails Spanish, you're probably gonna be a little angry at him.
Yeah.
So, but no. So outside of the joke of her being attractive, I absolutely love what they did with the mom and dad here. The the dad struggling. We see a very different version of Spider-Man where he's friends with the police in his universe, which is a lot different than most of the other Spider-Man who are at
hmm
odds with the police force and all that. And dude, the conversation that they have with each other when Miles is Spider-Man, so in his stupid deep voice how would you even fall for
hmm
that? That's the
I
worst deep
know.
voice of all time. But what do you think about the two parents and the roles that they played and their characterizations in this?
I'm really happy to see more of the mom showing up. I thought it was really cool because I feel like the first one really obviously more focused on the dad and his relationship with Miles, whereas this one focuses on kind of both of them. Obviously, it's still focusing a little bit more on like the dad feels like he's losing his son, and then the mother also feeling the same way where they don't want him to like leave. Where are they at? They're in. What side of New York?
Well,
Brooklyn?
no. Yeah,
Yeah,
Brooklyn. Sorry.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peter's from
And he's trying to
Queens.
go to yeah, I think he's trying to go to Queens or something like that for school or something like that, if I remember right. It was somewhere like a little bit farther away or whatever it was. It wasn't in Brooklyn anymore.
No, he's trying to like leave the state.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
he's
What
trying to go
was
to a
it
whole nother
called?
school. I forgot what the school's called.
Yeah, I forgot what to. But yeah, so like I liked seeing that. I thought the two parents worked insanely well together. I loved the whole being like, hey, will you see him again? Let him know. 5 months. Like he's grounded for 5 months, and they just like throughout the movie he just keeps getting more and more months added on to like his grounding and everything. Um, I don't know. I just think his parents are fantastic. I especially love the dad where he's like, and he called me by my first name or something like that. And like I don't like that, call me Sergeant whatever,
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just think it was very natural. It was very funny. I like how they again were they just. I also feel like the culture in this movie was very well done. I especially love like how like it shows the Latino culture of like them doing this big celebration and everything, where they have like all the family together because he's becoming sergeant and all that. I especially love how they showed the mural that Miles made at the very end of the last movie with his uncle in the background, which I thought was really cool too. Um, yeah, I just thought they were really good. It felt natural. It felt like they like kind of just truly felt like his parents. Felt like how actual parents would react
Yeah,
to
they felt
things.
real.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
They were real. They I love my mom and dad before I make this next statement. I absolutely love you. I think you're some of the best parents out there. Uh, but it made me want to have these two as parents. It made me want to be like, you know what? I wish these were my mom and dad. That'd be awesome. I love you guys, mom and dad. You don't listen to the show, so whatever. I don't care. Maybe you should listen to the show. But all right. Actually, you know what? Before we get into the big three main characters, I want to talk about the overall plot of this thing because I think the overall plot of this thing is absolutely fantastic. And the fact that, man, everybody gets shit on.
What do you mean?
Everybody. Dude, all the decisions that had to be made, the circumstances that Miles is put in. I mean, that's a main characterization of Spider-Man. Like, nothing ever happens for him good. He
Yeah,
constantly gets shit on over and over again, and his goal is always to just overcome those situations. That's a tent pole of all Spider-Man's characters. Gwen's character gets shit on in this movie. Miles gets shit on. Miguel O'Hara has been shit on. um,
yeah,
and like, so I absolutely love that it's just consistent. Again, like I said in my non-spoiler, this feels like the Empire Strikes Back. Everybody is hit hard in this movie, and you're not really left in the best of places. Like
hmm,
Gwen's character, like you pointed to, is left in kind of a better place, but not really. Like, he's still lost. They have no clue where the hell he is, and they have to go find
yeah.
him. So, everybody is. This is a much darker tale than the first movie is, and I absolutely loved that. And just the whole story around the canon being the thing that holds everything together.
Yes,
It
yeah.
was
I love that.
so cool. When they started talking about, canon events and everything like that, I fucking lost my nerdgasms, dude. Again, people who just generally enjoy these movies probably don't understand what that word canon means, but if you understand it and you get it, you come to and you come to terms with it, I would question if you're a comic book fan and you don't hear the word canon that you don't freak out just a little bit.
Basically, Miguel, which is like, I guess that we'll be talking more about that in a second, but I think he's basically the epitome of a huge nerd, where it's like, that's not a canon event. That's not how it's supposed to go down. That's literally how he is throughout the entire movie. I'm like, he's basically a huge nerd, is what he is, because he's like, that's not how it's supposed to go down. That's a canon event. Which I love all the memes from that, by the way. There's so
Yeah.
many good memes coming from that. But yeah, I like that premise a lot. I think it's very interesting, and I just like how they call it canon. Like they could have called it anything else, but they chose canon, which I like.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a call to all the fans out there for anything. So
And it didn't
I
feel
like
like
that.
pandering. It didn't feel like
No.
it felt like if you know, you know. If you don't,
Hmm.
you don't. If you don't, you just accept it for what it is. But if you know, if you know what that word means, this story and this narrative has a much deeper meaning than I think even just people who love the movie are giving it credit for. I think this is an incredibly deep story with huge ramifications for this universe and told in essentially a perfect way. There wasn't a single narrative thread that I was like, that kind of got off the rails, or I have to make a leap to understand. Everything is weaved together in
Hmm.
a perfect narrative and a perfect story that brings us to essentially the beginning of the end of the story and what it ends up being. And I just got to give shouts off. It's an immaculately written movie. I said with only really one kind of negative character in my mind. Um, so, anything else you have to say on the overall just story that was told here?
I don't think so. Just yeah, I don't know. It felt flawless all the way to the very end. Other than yeah, clearly it's a part one, a part two, so it does. The main plot of this movie does end abruptly, but with more of like a cliffhanger at the end more than anything. It wasn't just like he showed up at this world and it went to black, but it still was a cliffhanger and it ended like where you just felt like obviously you knew there was more to go on with it. But I do at least like that they did have at least one beginning to sort of end of a story where it starts off the very beginning of the movie starts off with Gwen Stacy kind of talking about how she feels very lonely. She misses, having friends like she had in when she
You
met
jumped
in Into the
ahead.
Spider-Verse. What do you mean I jumped ahead?
We were gonna get to the characters. I was saving Gwen
Oh,
for
I thought you were
last.
jumping. I thought you were jumping to.
No,
Okay, that's fair. Okay, well, that's what I meant by that was a plot, though. That was a
this
part
I
of the
know, I
plot.
know, I know, I know.
So, okay, let's go with the characters real quick, and then we can
Okay.
talk more about that.
Well,
Yeah,
let's jump into what in my mind is the main character of this movie, and that is Gwen Stacy as
yeah.
Spider Gwen. Um, again, I did not expect that. Again, it was like we talked about with Guardians. It was that's kind of a twist, but again, that's not like an in movie twist. That's just kind of like that's not the direction I thought. So yeah, she is if de facto the main character of this movie. Everything
Hmm.
is woven around her. The artistic style with her universe. That's where they really show their the flexing on what these artists can do behind the scenes, and the fact that it is essentially the art style of her universe is emotion driven. Everything
Hmm.
in the colors and everything changes with the emotions of Gwen, and I thought it was
Yeah, it was like
it's just
literally
so
like
good
someone. It's like someone kept throwing paint buckets like on stuff, and it's like dripping in the background. Yeah, especially that ending scene
with
with
her and her
her
dad.
and her dad, dude, where she got like super upset and everything became like really dark and everything was. But then like as soon as everything became happy, like a ton of color got shoved in your face and everything. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking cool, man. I like that. That's awesome. That's attention to detail because it really goes with her. Like, I mean, she's a very music based universe in my opinion, whereas no one else is really that music well other than punk rock Spider-Man. But like I don't know. I just think it's cool. I just like that everyone has a very unique art style to them. Like even if it's like slightly different, like hers is more paint bucket, but as soon as you get to like Miles again, it's a lot more sharp, a lot more crisp compared to like hers and everything. I thought that was really cool. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
I
mean,
would argue not. I don't know if I could really say she's truly like for the Guardians. I feel like Guardians more focused on Rocket at that time than like any other character. Whereas I think this one, yes, it does focus a lot on Gwen, but I do think a lot of it was also very driven on Miles too.
yeah, I guess the
But the
both.
overarching beginning to end story, technically, we could say yes, Gwen, because she does have a beginning and an end to the story. Not dying. She didn't die, but I mean, like, she just got like she kind of got her problem resolved. Like all of her problems kind of were resolved throughout this movie.
Yeah, she's the
Where
only
like
character that comes out ahead in my
yeah,
mind.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So like I think
other than
so
Spot technically.
technically she is a main character if you're going to go off of the full beginning to end story in this, but I do think both her and Miles have a main like story in this movie, as I would say. I think they did a really good job too of get out of here, fucking bug, get out of here, get. Um, but yeah, I just I think they did an insanely good job with her story.
Yeah,
So
I mean, obviously we're trying to not sound like we're talking to a mirror here, but I mean, everything is fantastic here. Like, it's hard to, really have nuanced, detailed discussions about something that is, in my mind, very close to a flawless movie. There's very little things that I can even come up with that I don't absolutely love or adore in this movie. Let's go to one character that Logan didn't like as much as I did. The villain number one, I would say. Um, Spot. He's an interdimensional
Yeah.
character. Obviously, his entire characteristics is surrounded by he's covered in interdimensional spots. He can travel wherever he goes. He has a very fluid character progression in this, where he starts out as essentially a joke of a character, and then
Hmm.
just grows into essentially Thanos. He's just collecting all this power, and then he's just gonna come back and just destroy everybody because he feels like he's been wronged. I mean, I think
Hmm.
he is essentially Thanos. Like, it's just a very different version of him. But, and you said you didn't love him too much, so I want to dig into that for a little bit.
Yeah. Um, I not that I don't love him, but I just like if I had to compare, and I can't compare because they're both of the same franchise, both Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. I think Fisk was a far more interesting villain. I know technically this villain's stronger than Fisk by a lot. I mean, he's going through universes and practically destroying it. But I think Fisk was more interesting because I don't know, just like the reasons why Fisk was doing things and the way it connected with the plot of the movie, where like Fisk just doesn't want to give up past mistakes and stuff, whereas Miles is learning, and that's why it's so opposite of them two. And also just Miles overcoming the person that killed Peter Parker, or Peter A. Parker is what you want to call it. Um, so I thought that was like he was more interesting than Spots. Like Spots is just he literally is a scientist that they threw a bagel at in the first movie, and he's upset about it. And so during like the last fight, he just happened to be in the room and then gets hit with the thing and becomes Spots. And then he just doesn't like Miles because Miles came out above where he went down below. And so now he just kind of wants to get back at him.
Yeah.
And he wants to become stronger and, pretty much kill everyone that Miles knows because he spoiled his plans.
I
That's
mean,
literally the epitome of his entire character trait
I
there.
think
That's
it's
who he
interesting
is.
that he's the catalyst though for everything going wrong. Like,
Well, that's fair. Yeah, he
he's the
does
one that
help
brought the
make the
spider.
story. Yeah, he does
Yeah.
help make the plot go on. And I know, again, I don't think he's the only villain of this movie. I think he's a variable that is making everything and all these universes kind of go the way they are, and it makes a good reason for them to. He's a good reason for
Yeah.
everything to connect
He's
together.
he's the
That's what
cat
he is.
he's the
Yeah,
catalyst for the story that
yeah,
transpire.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I
And but
think
then
that's
you
what
also have Miguel, which we'll be talking about soon. He's technically another villain to the story, clearly.
I think he's villain 1.5. I don't.
Yeah,
I think he's half a villain because. All right, I guess we'll just fuck it. We'll go right into Miguel. Whatever.
yeah,
It seems like a natural progression. So
yeah.
Miguel's motivation throughout this entire movie is to save everybody's universe. That's the
Hmm.
only thing he cares about. And I don't think in that motivation we can necessarily say he's a villain. Yes, he goes against our main characters and he
Hmm.
tries to stop the main characters, but he only does it because he has already seen the repercussions of his own mistakes. We learned that through the movie. He lived someone else's life. He found a universe where his Miguel died and he went to go live what he thought he wanted in his life. And if I remember correctly, pretty much everyone died in that universe because he was there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He
So
like fucked up the canon
yeah.
of that
So
universe.
his entire character motivation is to just not have anyone else make the same mistake that he's already made. And in that, I don't necessarily see him as a villain. Obviously, he's positioned as an antagonist to Miles and someone who's stopping Miles from saving his family and his loved ones. So yes, I guess you could glean from that a villain stake, but I don't think he's a villain character. Like Spot's a villain
Hmm.
character. His main motivation is to garner power to take down the ultimate hero for strictly self-indulgent means. That's a villain.
Hmm.
Miguel has no self-indulgent means that he's aiming for. He's aiming to save everybody. And this is the only way he knows how to do that. So yes, technically, like I said, he's positioned as the antagonist to Miles, but I do not see him as a villain at all. Like he's just trying to stop everyone from making the mistake that he's already made. And I absolutely love him here because there's one thing that I kind of pointed out. Sorry, I'll let you get your talking. My bad. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that yeah, he has good reasons, but he is a villain in the sense that he's too excessive on that point. Where literally he almost kills Miles on the train scene just because he's like, well, you're the first one. You're the thing that is causing all these things. Like he's willing to kill someone, another Spider-Man, technically, just because he's that afraid of, everything going down. And that's where he is kind of a villain. Because he would kill Miles. He would.
I mean,
And that's the
yes,
thing.
he's willing to
so,
sacrifice. It makes it clear he's willing to sacrifice the one person to save the whole.
yeah.
I mean, and that's what he's telling Miles is that's what Spider-Man's supposed to be. Everyone, you're not supposed to know that this person is supposed to die. It's only in this scenario that they're forced to know. But sometimes you have to sacrifice the one that's closest to you to save everybody, and he's just trying to uphold that. So yes, he is willing to sacrifice Miles, but I'm trying to look at it as like, if it wasn't Miles that he was trying to take out, would I still feel hate for him or still be mad at him for doing what he was doing? I don't necessarily think so. I think I would maybe kind of agree with him in a way if it wasn't Miles he was trying to take out. And that's kind of a hard distinction to make because, again, the movie sets him as the exact antagonist to your main character or one of your main characters. So I don't know. It's hard to it's kind of hard to dig out exactly what his character is supposed to be.
I guess you're better. I think that I more agree that like he's not a villain, he's an antagonist. There you go. That's a better way of going with it. Yeah.
I like that.
He is definitely far more of an antagonist. So, but still there is a moral line there where like he's willing to kill someone. And that's where the moral line hits, where it's like it's still kind of like not Spider-Man like to kill someone.
Well, that's Spider-Man 2099. He kills people all the time in his universe.
That's fair.
That's right in line with his character. So, but one thing I loved, and this is something I saw during the movie, and I talked with Peyton afterwards. The movie is, yes, he wants everyone to follow along with him and agree with what he's doing, but he still lets everybody be the Spider-Man that they are. He is not the joking Spider-Man. He never really was in his comic. He's never been, but he still lets everybody have their funny moments. Like he doesn't really necessarily get mad at Peter B. Parker when he's making these dumb jokes, or when all these other Spider-Man are making light and being those humorous characters that they're supposed to be. He lets them be the characters that he's supposed to be because he knows that's how it's supposed to go. And I thought that was absolutely brilliant that they positioned him in the way that they did to be that direct antagonist to Miles. But he still lets all the Spider-Man that he feels like he's responsible for be the characters that they're supposed to be, even though it makes his job a little bit harder when they're joking and they're messing up and they make mistakes. He doesn't necessarily get mad at them. He gets a little annoyed, but he doesn't necessarily get mad at any of the Spider-Man for being the characters that he knows they are supposed to be. And I thought that little character touch, I absolutely loved it. I was nerding out that I'm like, oh, look, I was trying to tell Peyton, I was like, oh, look, he's annoyed, but he's not mad, and he's not preventing them from being who they're supposed to be. Like, that's why he's an actual good character. And I don't know, man. That little detail that they threw in that writing, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic that they were able to kind of keep that core ideology of Spider-Man as a whole, not just one individual, Spider-Man as a whole, and bring it into the movie. I don't know if that landed at all for you, but I was trying to make it make sense.
I will say there is one thing that's really confusing me, and especially after rewatching Into the Spider-Verse, is he doesn't make that watch gadget until the very end of Into the Spider-Verse. So in between this movie and the sequel that we just watched, he went to a different universe and fucked up, because clearly Peter B. Parker helped him in that moment, but Peter B. Parker didn't know about different universes in Into the Spider-Verse. So Peter B. Parker,
he's from a different universe.
No, but like Peter B. Parker didn't. He just seen another multiverse in the first movie. He didn't know about all that. If he would have known all, and also at the very end to the Spider-Verse, it literally shows Miguel with the AI, and he said, is it finished? And she said, yeah, and it's the watch that they have in the movie. So Peter B. Parker didn't know Miguel at that moment, so Miguel must have met him in between these two movies, but also Miguel must have went to that different universe to try to make a different life and messed up in between these two movies. Because that's the only way that could have happened.
Yeah, unless there's,
That's where I'm a little confused
I
with
guess
that
you can
because like I
explain
don't
that
get it.
away with like timelines are different between things, and
Yeah. I don't know.
maybe
It's just
he
weird
did
for
it,
me.
but maybe he went to a different universe before, like he had another way to do it, and he made the watch so everybody else could do it for him, and he could gather the Spider Society. I don't know.
Yeah, that's one thing that's been kind of confusing me quite a bit because it's like Peter B. Parker clearly didn't know about any of this yet until at the end of Into the Spider Verse, where literally he goes back to his universe, and I'm sure Miguel finds him in between these two movies. And I guess they've been working pretty close together because he seems like they've have a little bit more of a connection than most of the other people there, other than I guess Spider Woman and all that. And clearly he did some Peter B. Parker did some stuff to help him out, but I don't know. It's confusing a little bit to me. That's the only thing that kind of confuses me because it's like I guess I didn't get enough time to really understand that. That's why I kind of want to rewatch the movie again, so maybe I can see that part again. But yeah, I'm a little confused. That's a little bit of a confusing area for me.
Fair enough. All right, let's finish up with Miles Morales,
Yeah.
the new
So
head, the new head honcho of Spider-Man. I would say he's everywhere. Like, and I love it. I absolutely, I love Miles Morales as a character. So, just straight up, what do you think?
he's just as good as he was in the last movie. Absolutely fantastic. He's obviously a lot more confident in this movie. Well, more confident. Maybe not like super confident. He definitely has some moments, but he's a far more confident, far more experienced Spider-Man now. We get to see technically him at his semi-prime now, where he knows how to use his abilities, he knows how to do all of his stuff. He's been saving New York for over a year and a half. Um, so it's really cool. I really like to see that. I'm happy to see more experience. But I think him as a character is absolutely fantastic, and the amount of stuff he goes through in this movie is absolutely insane. Especially when he had to run away from all the Spider-Man. Like I don't know how the hell he did that, but he fought his way through, and that was awesome. That was really really cool, and I especially just love all the badass lines he says. He's like no, I'm Spider-Man. He's like because he keeps telling him he's not Spider-Man. He's like, no, I am Spider-Man. And then boom, pushes him off and everything.
Well, they
Yeah,
keep calling
I
him
don't know.
Kid.
Yeah,
They
I
keep
called
calling
him
him Kid,
kid.
and
Dude,
it
yeah.
pisses him off. He goes, "I'm not a
Yeah.
kid." And then you have the what I can only guess is going to be a very prominent line for the foreseeable future. Is like, "Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing,"
Mhm.
which is Spider-Man. But that
Mhm.
embodies the character of Spider-Man, which is why I didn't fully fall in love with Holland's character till No Way Home because I never thought he
Mhm.
was, the Spider-Man that just he's on his own.
And
That
now we do,
yeah, and
which
now we
is
do.
cool.
Now we have it. So we'll see where that goes. But yes, that line embodies Spider-Man as a character, and I thought
Mhm.
it was so fucking cool. Yeah, I absolutely, again, echoing chamber here, but Miles Morales in this movie is just as good as he is in the first movie. Doesn't have as much progression as he did in the first movie because there was a lot more ground to cover in the first movie. Obviously, he went from nothing to Spider-Man at the end of it,
Mhm.
but I still think it was a very natural progression, and you get to see him deal with the things that all the Spider-Men have had to deal with. Essentially the work-life balance. That's one of the main
Mhm.
components of these characters is how do you balance being this hero and being a kid going to school and doing all these other things and living your life. And
Mhm.
we got to see that here, and just like it's been in almost all of them. I don't really think there's ever been a Spider-Man movie or TV show that hasn't nailed that balance because it's one of the core tenets of the characters. So, um, one question I had that's been floating in my mind, and I have my answer.
Mhm.
Is there any scene in this movie that tops the leap of faith scene from the first movie?
Hmm.
Because it is my opinion that the leap of faith scene, when you take it all as a whole, all the film studies stuff out there, the music, the cinematography, the imagery, the action, the story being told, everything taken. The leap of faith scene is one of my top scenes in cinematic history.
I don't think there's anything that really hits exactly that close to
And
it.
it's
I
hard because,
don't
like I
I
said,
don't
that's
like
one.
because there's like a lot of beautiful scenes, like especially at the very end when they're going through that city and they have all the neon lights and everything. It looks absolutely phenomenal. But that doesn't even have the same like punch as I don't know.
I'm just
Yeah,
thinking
there
of
really
like
wasn't.
I'm just thinking of like filmic studies, like the objective viewpoints, like the
Hmm.
culmination of what a scene is in
Hmm.
the leap of faith is everything. The building, the music, again, the plot behind it, everything. The leap of faith scene, like I said, is in my opinion one of the most perfect scenes ever put to film. I guess you don't put it to film; it was drawn to film, but it's
Hmm.
um I don't know why I brought that up. I wanted to ask you if you thought there was anything in here that tops the best moment from that movie. And I guess now we gotta answer the question: which one's better? I have my
I really
answer.
don't think I could, to
I would
be
say
honest.
my answer is it doesn't matter.
It doesn't because like I don't think they're really I think they're both equally as good and they both are doing different things, but they both are honestly equally as good. Like I don't really think I could choose because they both are very, very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Peyton asked me that which one I liked better, and that was my immediate answer. I was like, it doesn't matter which one. They're both incredible. And again, if the like I said in my non-spoiler review, if the finale can bring this home, it's one of my favorite, not just animated trilogies, one of my favorite trilogies I've ever watched.
Well, I'll
And
say out of two or three, I gotta say I have very high confidence they are gonna
yeah,
nail it.
it's
So if they've done as I mean, I'd be surprised if this last one is really bad because they've done nothing but greatness with these last two movies. So yeah.
all right. Well, that was it. That was our spoiler talk. I'm sure we missed stuff. We always miss stuff. Shit, we missed the merchant in Resident Evil 4. So,
I know.
but ladies and gentlemen, down below, let us know what you thought about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Did you love it as much as we do? Or are you excited for Beyond the Spider-Verse? What were some of your favorite moments, favorite characters from this movie? Let us know down below. We'll engage. We'll talk with you. We're going to go now to essentially the showcase season and beyond. So we'll be right back. Well, technically for you, it'll be 5 seconds. For us, we'll be right back. But all right, welcome to our second topic of the show. Sorry, point of the show. Pots, 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 pots.
Pop, 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 pop.
Summer Game Fest review. It happened last Thursday. We reacted to it live. You guys got a chance to see it, watch us do it live. I guess that's what that means. Anyway, uh, real quick,
Yeah, makes sense.
run through run through your overall thoughts on the showcase. Put a score on it under the new experience point review scale, that being A, B, C, D, or F, and then S for those special things.
Well, kind of a lot like the PlayStation one. I'm gonna give it a C tier. C is my thing.
Really?
Yes.
Oh wow, I did not expect that at all. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest.
Um, I thought it had some good stuff in there. Um, I don't really know, man. Like, if I could give it a C plus or a B minus, probably a little bit more fair. But we're not doing
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
We're
we're
not gonna
not
do that
opening up the
extra.
worms, so
So since it's more like a B minus, I'm just gonna go down to a C. I do think it's if I had to like kind of choose what would be on top, I would definitely say Summer Game Fest is still above PlayStation Showcase for me. I do think it's better, but it also just has a lot of stuff that's like not that great, like not a lot of some of the stuff was pretty exciting. I think probably the worst thing was the last thing they announced where they hyped it up so much, making everyone believe it was gonna be something really cool, and then it was just something we already all knew about. And that's where I was kind of like, oh, okay. Like we kind of knew it was coming, we just didn't know like a year, but whatever. So I'm gonna give it a C, but a high C. It's definitely like again above the PlayStation Showcase, but I just don't think it hits. Fuck it. I'm gonna give it a B tier. I can't, dude. It has to be just in the B. Like it has to be. I think if I'm gonna go above it, so it's PlayStation Showcase is a C, Summer Games Fest is a B. Probably already guessed what our next one's gonna be, but yeah, I think it's a B tier showcase. I think it is good with some of the stuff they showcase, but there are definitely some negatives which we'll be getting into that I feel like are just kind of like you know, some things could have been a little bit better, but I still think it was pretty quick getting to the point and not as much world premiere, you know? Let's give a round of applause to that.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
world premiere.
yeah.
Wow. I mean, Future Game Show did that, but we're
Xbox
not
did
talking
it.
about that. Yeah, and the Xbox did, but at least
Xbox did a lot of it, dude. It was world
yeah.
premiere over
But
and over and over again.
at least they were actually, we got to give them props, world premieres most of them. So,
Fair enough, I guess.
yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sitting right at you. From the sound of it, I'm a little higher on this than you are, even though we have the same kind of complaints about it. I'm sitting at a solid B tier. And I really asked myself, like, if I'm going to put this as a C tier, what is a B or an A tier conference to me? Because there's not a lot of bad things that happened in this. And there weren't a lot of bad things in PlayStation's. So probably from an objective standpoint, that's probably higher than what I ranked it. Just as a PlayStation fan, I was extremely disappointed with it. So that's why I put it where I did. But like, what more could I want from a showcase that is trying to represent the entirety of the industry while coming out smack dab in the middle of both first party teams putting on their own showcase? So obviously they're going to save the biggest stuff. Well, they should. You would have thought they saved the biggest stuff for their
Yeah.
own showcases.
You would think so.
But yeah, so I'm a solid B tier. My biggest takeaway from this is, it's kind of echoing Logan a little bit, is of the new announcements we got, there weren't a lot of really, really cool things. Like I went through the list and I actually highlighted some of the ones. They showed off 35 things. Some of them weren't games, but they showed off 35 things. 11 of those were new game announcements. And of those 11, only 3 of them are sitting in my good tier. So it's like a lot of the new stuff that they showed off, for me, landed with kind of a meh or a whimper for me personally. But I still think they showed a lot of games. They had a decent amount of content, a good range, and a good breadth of content. There were things for me here. There were things that aren't for me here, but I'm sure they're for some people. And so I think it would be in not good faith of myself and my own opinions and my own objective viewpoint if I put this at a C tier. So I think it's a solid B tier for me. It wasn't bad. By all intent and purposes of our rating scale, this was a good showcase, a good to great showcase. There's not a lot more I think, a Summer Game Fest could be or could do. I think this is pretty easily one of the higher ones we've gotten in recent years. So, yeah, that's it. We're both at B tier. Logan's a little lower, but I really wasn't bouncing back and forth too much. This one I was pretty convinced was a B tier. So, like we do every time, we have a list: the good, the bads, and the meh. This is only just personal from us. Some of these I threw in the good or the meh for like industry-wide purposes, but most of this is my own personal feelings on them. So, why don't we start off with the bads? And my number one and only real true bad is, what the fuck was that Marvel Snap segment?
Oh yeah, that was one of them I was gonna put too, dude. I totally agree. It was
What the
so
hell was that?
cringy. Dude, when you watch the Ubisoft one, dude, you're gonna see like 2 of those.
That's
It's
awesome.
awful. Yeah,
But dude,
it's
I
bad.
mean, you can go back and watch our reaction to it, and while we were laughing, it wasn't like we were laughing with him. We were laughing at him. It wasn't good.
Yeah.
The guy was fucking just insane. And
Dude,
I get it.
he had
I
some
get
Adderall or
it.
something, dude. He was fucking pumped. Like, dude, he's keeping that same energy. He is not giving up that energy about Marvel Snap. I mean, but dude, like, it was really awkward.
Yeah,
It just was really cringy.
and
Ugh.
I rewatched it when I got past his awkwardness and personality, which I can't really critique too much because that would be disingenuous of me to critique someone's personality. He's just a very excited guy and he's happy for his game. They didn't really say anything throughout the entire segment of what they were doing. Like, I rewatched it and I'm like, I didn't really glean any new sorts of information from whatever the hell the guy was talking about at a very fast rate. But so that is my one true bad. My other just throw in bad is, also, what's the point of the Xbox Porsche things? That was an
Oh my God,
absolutely,
yeah.
that was not only did I personally think that was a hideous looking console, it doesn't matter because you can't buy it, which means, what was the point? I
I don't know.
like, that's that's I think worse than like The Rock showing up, because the point of The Rock being there was because he paid money to have his ad put in there. That's the point. What was the point of the Xbox Porsche designed consoles that you can't buy? So why do it?
I I don't really know. You would think because honestly, you would think that would have been announced at the Xbox showcase, and it should have been around the Forza announcement trailer. That would have worked out a little bit better. It would have been a little bit more smooth because it would have kind of connected to the game, and with the fact probably I'm sure Porsche is one of the vehicles you can drive in. Obviously Forza, it's a car game, but yeah, I thought it was just kind of awkward, and
I
also
mean,
it was ugly, and also yeah, the fact that like it's really dumb this generation that haven't really been getting almost any themed consoles at all, and then you show them, and then you're like, yeah, you can't buy it though, you can win it. Okay, that's cool.
I guess the only connection I can make from it is that Xbox was a partner with the 24 Hours of Le Mans race that happened this
Yeah,
weekend, which, by the way, I watched a lot because there was a Camaro race in it and it was awesome. By the way, I want to point out Americans don't like each other right now. We're at each other's throats. We don't get political. I'm not getting political here. Don't worry. I'm just making this as a statement. Nothing brings Americans together more than trying to beat other countries at something. Man, when that Camaro stepped onto that racetrack and was facing off against all the European vehicles, the Porsches, the Ferraris, America was holding hands, singing Kumbaya to the fucking V8 Camaro roaring down the straight at Le Mans. And I loved every second of it. I watched a lot of the race in the background while I was doing homework. I just had it up. I was watching it. I'm a big racing guy, so I love that. That's the only connection I can make. And I guess that makes sense, but still, why show it at a summer game? The people who are going to go watch the 24 Hours of Le Mans are not watching the Summer Game Fest. So what was the point? I don't think there was one. That's why it's the bad. So do you have any other bats?
I do.
Okay. That's the
So
only
I
thing I got.
have Prince of Persia. What the fuck was that? That was just horrible. The music, the just it wasn't really their fault, but it just was just like it also is just more weird because they literally showcased this game again at Ubisoft Connect thing, and it's just like I don't know why they even had it here. They could have just saved. Honestly, Ubisoft's really weird with that. With all these showcases, they had something show up at all these, but then they just did the same thing again when they showed it at Ubisoft Connect. They just showed all the games again. It's like could have just waited. It feels like these are all just
Ubisoft
weird
Forward.
advertisements for another show. Like it's honestly that's actually a bad. It's the fact that they're advertising all this stuff that's going to come to different shows. Like they're advertising a different show at their show. Why? That's bad too. I think that's dumb. I don't think I need to see that. Show me the stuff at this show. You can advertise the show afterwards, not during the show, in the middle of it. I thought that was weird. There's a couple games I thought were really bad too. Final Fantasy Ever Crisis, stupid. The game looked like shit. It was a dumb mobile game. And then that Lord of the Rings game looked horrible as well. Did not look good. Doesn't even look like a Lord of the Rings game in my opinion. Just looks like any other fantasy dwarves. So those are all my bads for the Summer Game Fest. I have a lot of mez, but
I have a lot
those
of
are
mess,
definitely
yes.
yeah, I have a lot of mez, but that those are all my bads. Other than Marvel Snap as well. I totally agree with you on that.
All
So
right. Well, let's go to those goods. We'll just go
yeah.
one at a time, like we have done. It's like I know you got confused last time. I'll say one, you say one. You got it?
Yes.
All right. Well,
Yep.
my first good, probably it's not my number one good, but I'm just going in order. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth being the show closer came out of nowhere. I don't think anyone predicted that being the show closer, and I think the game looks absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to play it. It's I know people are memeing on the two disc things. I see that as a huge win for physical games that, Square Enix is willing to say, no, we're not going to just make it a download like Call of Duty where there's nothing on the disc. There's data on the disc. It's going to mean something to own this disc. And it's just awesome to see that this game is so fucking big that it can't fit on 100 gigabyte disc. That's cool. And I just thought it was just surprising. I like to be surprised, and while I wasn't surprised with a new game or anything like that, I was surprised in its inclusion here. And I think that speaks volume to how big Final Fantasy VII, especially these remakes, have become in the industry. for it to get the honor of closing out one of the bigger shows of the year. And I thought that was really cool, especially from a fan of the series and the game. So
Sorry,
I'm
what?
done. Clearly, I stopped talking.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Well, all right. So one of my goods, just like how I talked about at the beginning of this episode, I think Liza P is actually getting a good release date, and a demo release was a awesome surprise, in my opinion. It wasn't a game I was going to expect to see a demo because a lot of companies don't do demos anymore. So that was a very big surprise for me. And also just getting a release date, I thought was very good. I'm happy to finally get a release date, and it's set in stone, and that had me really excited. I'm really pumped for that. So it's not really much more to say about that, but I thought that was good news. That was a good little, um, not a huge surprise, but not it wasn't a huge surprise, but it wasn't something I was like. I didn't expect the demo was more of the big thing that I really enjoyed, and also just seeing an actual date. So
Yeah, well, like we did with PlayStation when things connect, I just jump right in. So yeah, Liza P is also one of my good ones. I thought it was a good showing. I didn't love the trailer. I thought it was kind of a weird trailer, but it really was just to announce the release date. It wasn't trying to show you anything else more of it. It's just here it is. Here's the release date. We know you guys have been waiting for it. Here's when you can play it. And I think the coolest thing was that I followed up with a shadow drop of the demo. That's awesome.
mhm.
I'm very happy for you, and I'm very happy for anybody who likes or is excited about Liza P out there. Just because I'm not, I can't recognize that this is a very hyped game and people are excited for it. So that was again another good for me, just because it was cool. It wasn't a personal good; it was just an industry good.
That's fair.
To you, sir. There you go. I'll make it
I'm
evident this
happy.
time.
I'm happy to see some Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay here, and a lot of it too. Um, I kind of like how they just like they announced it not long ago, and they're just like already like showing so much of it, and I love to see that. I love when game companies kind of announce their things a little bit more closer to launch, and then they actually have it pretty much finished. Because then it's a lot more exciting. Because then I'm like, I know this is going to release within this year. I'm not worried about it being delayed. So yeah, I thought Mortal Kombat 1 was kind of a nice little surprise. I mean, I knew Mortal Kombat was going to show up at one of these showcases, but I didn't know which one. Um, I'm happy it showed up here. And I thought again, it looked really good. It actually looked very impressive. It looked fun. It seems like they're adding a lot to this game, especially when it comes to like the environments that you're fighting in look super awesome. I think the animations that they're doing for this game are fantastic, and I really love the addition of like the Marvel versus Capcom partner system where you can call in like a partner to help you do like bonus attack moves. So that's cool. I like that. I thought it was a good showing. And it showed quite a bit, but it wasn't too excessively long. So it was nice.
Yeah, keep the link going. Mortal Kombat 1 is also one of my goods. Like Logan
Yeah.
said, I agree. I think it's a very strong showing. You can watch the episode. Logan and I were pretty impressed. I was like, this looks legit. We were paying attention to the backgrounds. The backgrounds look real good. The animation was what kept blowing me away. It is so smooth, especially for a fighter.
Mhm.
Like the way that they have animated moves linking together, I think is incredibly impressive. The way that it
Mhm.
feels natural, where it used to be like you would do a move and then do an input for another move and it would just kind of snap to that move. This one seems super smooth, super connected, and it makes you really, at least I hope it makes you kind of feel that connection to that character. So yeah, I thought it was a good showing, looked good, it looked like it played good. It looks like it's gonna have a fun story with interesting characters and kind of a new reboot slash revitalization, or I guess fresh start for the series and franchise. So yeah, I thought overall just good showing for Mortal Kombat, and I was excited to see that they didn't make us wait for it. It was the third thing that
Mhm.
they showed. Well, maybe it was the second thing. No, third thing. Yeah,
Maybe.
it was the
Yeah.
third thing. All right, what's the next one?
Um, Sonic. It's cool to see a new Sonic game. I know I may not be a huge fan of it, but it's always a good thing to see a brand new game, and that was something new to show to us. I know I'm not. I guess I could put this as a meh for me, but a good for the people out there that are big Sonic fans. So I thought that was a pretty good little announcement. It was a brand new Sonic game. I thought that was awesome. Or was it a brand new? So,
Yeah,
or was
no,
it a remake?
no, it's brand new. Yeah,
Brand new. Yeah, that's cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is also again keep with the link. This is one of my goods. I thought a brand new 2D side scroller Sonic game. That's awesome.
Hmm.
I'm not a big Sonic fan, but have enjoyed quite a few of the Sonic games. I love the movies. I still want to play Frontiers. Don't know when I'm ever going to get a chance to do that, but yeah, I think we've talked about how it feels like the movies revitalized this character in a way,
Hmm.
and while Frontiers may not have been the greatest thing on the face of the planet, it came in a lot better than any of us thought it was going to, and it seems to be exactly what the fans wanted, which is the job of a franchise. Be
Hmm.
what the people want it to be. So, again, another good. It's not a huge good, but it is, I think, overall a cool announcement. And
Hmm.
it looked fun. So it looked like it
Yeah.
wasn't broken. So that's
Hmm.
good. There was no floating fucking rails in the sky. So that's good. Did you get them?
Yeah, I think I did.
Fuck yeah.
Okay. All right. Next one. I know we seen this one recently, but or saw this one recently. But I think being able to see gameplay for this was great, and that was Alan Wake 2. I know we already saw this at PlayStation Showcase, but we did get a little bit more gameplay, and as I always say, I love to see just a little bit more. I mean, obviously, I don't think I need to see any more. Anyways, I've never played Alan Wake. I kind of want to play this one because it looks awesome. And yeah, it looked great. It was awesome. Again, didn't feel like it was too excessively long. It was kind of like to the point. They kind of explained a little bit more. And I'm very curious about this one because of the way that the dude was explaining it. So I thought it was really good. Like the whole weird, like you could jump between them two, but like you could. I don't know how it was kind of confusing how he was explaining it, but I thought it was cool still. Yeah.
Yeah, this is my biggest win for the showcase. I think is the best thing that was shown off. It looks the best. I absolutely cannot wait for Alan Wake 2. Unfortunately, I think it comes out like a week before Spider-Man, which is a little annoying. But yeah, I thought this looked absolutely fantastic. Like I said, it was one of the only times in the showcase where I was actually paying attention when people were talking. So that tells me that I was interested and I was invested in what they had to say. So big ups, my number one good from the showcase. So nothing but rainbows, and it says it looks amazing. It looks like Resident Evil 4, which is fantastic to me. All right, let's switch up the pace a little bit because I keep echoing you.
Yeah.
I want to get this one in before you say it.
Hmm.
My joking number one good from the showcase.
Hmm.
Nicholas fucking Cage. I just like yeah, it's not a huge announcement for a game that you and I don't play, but it was just so fucking cool to see someone like that enter into the video game industry and do it in a very fun, lighthearted, self-indulgent kind of way. And I just really
And it
liked it.
wasn't like it wasn't like cringy like when The Rock came on. Like I thought it was just
Again,
good in general.
The Rock's that was an
It was
ad, so it's a little different.
yeah,
This wasn't
but
an ad.
I that's fair. But yeah, I'm really happy that they actually showed up. I thought they were just gonna like because I've heard about this for a while now, and for him to actually show up there and kind of talk about the fact that he's just a character added to this weird horror game, uh, is just hilarious in my opinion. And I just love how like into the thing he was. He's like, see, I didn't want you guys to just feel like you're playing as me. I want you guys to be me and everything. And I'm
Yeah.
like, it's
Like I
hilarious.
said,
Like
it
perfect.
was self-indulgent, it was self-reliant, it was I can't think of the word, but it's like when you understand who you are. I can't think of the word right
Hmm.
now, but it was just great. I loved it. Again, not a huge announcement, doesn't really mean anything for you and I at all, but I just thought it was cool to see someone like that enter into the video game world. It was very akin to when Keanu Reeves walked on stage. It's like, oh yeah, video games are a thing now. These people want to be
Hmm.
a part of it, and that was really awesome. So, all right, let me just throw this one in there because we'll just get this one over with. Spider-Man 2 showing up out of nowhere, giving us a release date, showing us the box. Collection edition gets announced. All that's great. Yeah, it's weird that it wasn't at PlayStation's, but whatever. Who cares? We got the news. We got the information. It feels real now, which is awesome. It didn't feel real after the showcase and there wasn't a release date. So now it feels real. Now my hype has grown. I'm playing it this year, and it looked awesome. I can't wait.
Oh, I'm gonna move on to my next one because I don't agree with you on that one. But so my next one is Like a Dragon Gaiden, I think it's called.
Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who shoved his face. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, the man who erased his name.
The man who
That's
erased
what it's
his
called.
name. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was close.
Again, haven't played a Yakuza game, but I always love seeing a new title, which I'm surprised they announced 2 titles within this like last week. But yeah, cool.
Well, this was announced
Um,
last year.
it was?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
This wasn't a new announcement, no. It was just a new
Okay.
update on it.
Well, I guess that's a little less exciting now. It was still pretty good.
Yeah, it
It
was
was
cool to see.
cool.
Yeah.
I guess I don't keep up with this. I thought it was something brand new, so that's why I was a little excited. I like to see some brand new stuff, but yeah, okay, that's cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Sorry to derail you a little bit there.
Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, that was one of my
Yeah,
goods
it's
too.
you,
So
but I'm like, I didn't
I
know if
already
you had to say it.
I already talked about it. So yeah, that's also one of my goods. So
Oh, it is? Okay.
yeah.
Do you want me to go next then?
No, I'll throw it in there. Fuck it.
Okay.
John Carpenter's Toxic Commando looks fucking
That's literally
sick.
what my next one
Yeah.
was as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This came out of nowhere. Awesome. You put why can't I remember the artist's name? Whatever. You put that artist in a trailer. I'm immediately into it, and I just thought it looked really, really cool. Still not really sure what it is. I think it's co-op, right? It's kind of like going for like a Left 4 Dead on like an exponential scale, World War Z type of thing. And it just looked fun. I'm sure it's something,
Yeah.
you know, if the price
It's
is right.
weird. It's really weird because like yeah, all this is like it just shows you in a vehicle, you're driving around, you're shooting up a bunch of hordes of these like undead enemies and stuff, and it just looks like a fun game. I don't
Yeah.
know, and I like the style because it's all 80s themed. Perfect. That's fantastic.
If the price is right, I'm sure Logan and I will be there. So, all right, only got 4 more. So, how many more you got?
Let's see. I have a few. I have 4 more as well.
Okay.
Which is funny 'cause
Banisher's
it's always
Ghost of New Eden. While this isn't a
That's
new
my next one.
announcement, it is an action RPG from the makers of Life is Strange, Vampire, and Remember Me. Don't Nod. Which is funny. There's another Don't Nod announcement in the Xbox showcase that
Yeah.
I completely forgot about. But so they're doing a lot of stuff. I just thought this looked awesome. Looked cool. Thought it was a good showing, strong showing. Got me interested in the game. I know it's not a new announcement, but I completely forgot about it. So that's why it's here. And again, just thought it
I'm just
looked
happy we
good,
got gameplay for it because the last time all we did was get like a 1 second little snippet of gameplay. This was actually full blown a lot of gameplay. So that was awesome. As again, I love gameplay over cinematic trailers, and they showed a lot of gameplay. So that's a big plus, and it looks cool. And I love the people of Life is Strange. I also really like Vampire. I never beat it, but I really enjoyed what I did play. So sounds cool, and I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it looks like they're still sticking with, the decision-based,
Which I
narrative and all
love.
that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. All right. Oh, this is a weird up for me because in my head while we were watching it, I got it completely backwards. So Exoprimal getting a Street Fighter 6 crossover.
That's hilarious. We had the same one. Yeah.
When I was watching it, I thought Street Fighter 6 was getting an Exoprimal crossover, and I didn't know how that was going to work. But that was
Yeah,
me being
yeah.
a big dum-dum, and yeah, no, it's so Street Fighter 6 characters are going to be in Exoprimal as, I guess, operators, let's just call them.
Mhm.
And yeah, cool. And,
That's cool. Yeah.
yeah, it's just
Yeah. I remember when we were first watching, we are like, Mecha Ryu.
Yeah.
and no, and
That
then
was-
and then like we seen the dinosaur pop up. We're like, what the hell? And then like, oh, okay, yeah, it's cool. It was pretty funny. I like that. That was a good one.
All right,
But,
I'll go to my non-gaming up. I thought Twisted Metal looked cool. Looked fun. I thought it didn't feel super out of place, whereas Gran Turismo felt out of place in the Sony one. This is a more
yeah, that one really felt awkward.
Summer Game Fest is more a celebration of the entire video game industry, and these adaptations are a part of that industry now. So I thought it just looked fun. It looked exactly like what I'm expecting of it. It just looks like it's going to be a fun, entertaining TV show. I'm not looking for The Last of Us storytelling and this. I just want to laugh And it said it's being written by the same guys who wrote Deadpool, so I'm sure I'm going to laugh.
Sure.
And like I said, overall just looked good. So
Well, one of my next ones is Path of Exile 2, a game that literally I'm sure a lot of people have been very excited for because, I mean, you said again, you had your PC first built when the first game came out. So it's been a little bit of time. So it's cool to see some actual gameplay and it looks good. You know, I mean, it looks to me exactly like Diablo 4. And that's not a bad thing. That's really cool. And I'm sure it's going to be just as intricate as Path of Exile was, the first one. So yeah, I think that's really cool to see it. I don't think we got an actual release date on that actually. I don't really think we did.
we didn't get a
So
lot of
that's
release
kind of a
dates in this.
disappointment. But I thought it was a pretty cool little announcement. So
All right.
yeah.
My final thumbs up for this. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 gets official reveal as
Yep.
a co-op campaign. Again, not like some crazy out of this world thing, but I just thought that was cool. By the way, it is confirmed. I looked it up later that you can just play the campaign co-op. For some reason, I still thought it was like a separate campaign.
Oh no, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
it was the wording confused me, but
Yeah.
yeah, I just think this is cool. I've made note how I've become a little bit more interested in Warhammer just simply because the whole Henry Cavill thing, and I kind of want to
Mhm.
support him and all the troubles that he's going through in Hollywood, and I kind of want to get behind him. So that is just the reason why I've looked into Warhammer a little bit more. And this is a third-person action adventure game, which is right up my alley. So
And it'd be fun to play co-op, honestly.
yeah,
Yeah.
just have to find a friend to play it with. So
Yeah, I wonder who.
I'm sure DJ's
um
available sometime.
oh yeah. I think my last good was a game I started to smile when I saw it because and Mike instantly judged me, and that was Witchfire. I think that was one of the last really goods for me. I think Witchfire looks fucking sick. It's my type of game. It's literally the type of game for me. I love shooter games, and it seems like a really badass, fast-paced kind of shooter, and it's got this very Van Helsing kind of look to it. It looks awesome. So just a lot of gameplay for it. I don't think that was technically new, but we did get to see some more gameplay, and I think we got an actual release date, if I'm thinking correctly. And yeah, I just thought it was really badass, and that's honestly my last really good thing from the showcase, in my opinion.
All right.
So
We're not going to delve too as heavy into the mez. We'll just rattle. I don't know. Let's do blocks of 4. I don't know. I don't
that's
care.
fair.
Yeah. So my mez go as follow. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown gets revealed as a show opener. Thought it was a weird way to open the show. Didn't really get the hype going. Didn't really get the juices flowing, if you know what I mean. And I just didn't really think it looked all that great. I thought the redesign of the prince was a little weird. I don't like the every fucking trailer has to have hip hop music in it. It feels like right now. That's an odd inclusion. But I can't honestly hate on it because it's Prince of Persia and I love Prince of Persia and I'm glad to see it come back in some way. Whether it's a good way or a bad way, we'll find out whenever it comes out. I think it said 2024. So Fortnite Wilds, Transformers crossover. I don't care about Fortnite. I'm sure people are excited about it. It was funny that Logan was very confused about the whole Transformers thing.
Yeah,
That
I
was
forgot.
that made
I
me chuckle.
mean, because you literally were talking to me about it, and I just didn't really think about it. It put things together. I was like, "Oh, Turok, yeah, that's what it's gonna
Turok.
be."
Star Trek Infinite. I love Star Trek, but I'm thinking this is another one of them like MMO type games. Doesn't seem to be
Yeah,
anything that I would play. And Sandland. Well, I think it's awesome. The art design is being done by Akira Toriyama of Dragon Ball Z fame. Just didn't really look like a super interesting game to me. So that was my first block.
anything else?
We said we are gonna go blocks of 4. I have a whole bunch else,
Oh,
but
I see. I get you. Well, one of my first ones was the Spider-Man 2 release date in game cover. Um, I just again felt like it was something that PlayStation could have just done at their own showcase instead of just waiting another like a week or so just to give us a release date. I just thought it was a waste of time. But whatever, it was a meh, wasn't a bad, just was kind of nothing that I thought was great. Um, Final Fantasy VII. I thought was kind of a meh because they hyped everyone up from the beginning and they really brought it down when they were just like, yeah, here's this game that everybody already knew about. So I was like, oh, okay, like that's cool. I'm happy we got a year, but we kind of all knew that was coming. So it wasn't something really exciting. So yeah, I thought it was meh. It was okay. I'm gonna bring up Sandlord. Which one was that one? Put that as
Sandland.
my.
That's the
Is
one
that?
where Akira Toriyama did the art. It looks like Dragon Ball. You thought it was.
Oh,
You thought it was.
oh, yep. You're right. You're right. You're right.
I can't remember. You thought it was Dragon
Um.
Quest.
Oh yes, yeah. And then my fourth one, because I agreed with you on the Fortnite, was Pow World, which Pow Word, which is basically Pokemon with guns. I mean, I may have laughed at it, but it doesn't really look that great. But it is a funny looking game. But it's just yeah, it's okay.
All right. Well, my next block, I'll start with Power Word because yeah, it looks fine. And people were oddly very excited about it. I don't think it looks amazing or anything like that. I have no clue how Nintendo's letting this happen. I guess they can't stop it, so get fucked on that.
Hmm.
Lord of the Rings Return to Moria. Again, for me, that's a meh. It looks like some kind of builder game set in the Lord of the Rings. Could be fun. Don't think you know, don't think it visually looked impressive at all. But I don't think it looked terrible or anything. It looked like something that, as long as it's not $70, it could be a good time. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. Well, I disagree with Logan that I think I don't think it looks awful or dumb or anything like that. It was just an announcement of the closed beta, which is just that could have been a blog post. Didn't need to take up a 2-minute time slot in this showcase. Could have used that for something else. Baldur's Gate 3 introduces Jason Isaac as the main villain. Again, that's cool, but not really up my alley. So I'm not going to really put it in a thumbs up category for me. So that is my next block.
Okay. Well, some of these are the same for me, so I'm just gonna say, obviously, Baldur's Gate. I agree with you. That was a very just meh thing. I thought Twisted Metal was kind of a meh thing. I know it is a video game related thing, but I just kind of feel like they could have just not. They could have just showed that somewhere else. I didn't really care to see it at the game showcase. I want to see video games, not shows. So that's why I also put Witcher on here as well, because I don't think I really needed to see this here. I don't really care to see this here. I know it's video game related, but it's not a video game. And so that's where it's like I don't really want to see it here. Another one was Remnant 2. It's nothing against the game. I'm sure it's a really good game, but it just wasn't something I was super pumped for. So I just thought it was okay. It looked all right. And my last two, real quick, is just more Avium. Why? Really? Like, do we really need to see this for the 15th time in a row? It seems like we've seen this so many times. Like, dude, I get what Avium is by now. I don't need to see it again. Please stop. And my last one is just a lot more bleh. I didn't even want to take the time to look up the rest of the things because I don't really know what most of their stuff. I just put just a lot more bleh. So there you go.
Yeah, there was a drag in the middle. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you and I talked about it because I asked you. I'm like, is anyone else bored? So I guess since you're kind of checked out, I'll run through them. I matched your Mortals of Avium, Remnant 2, and Netflix showing The Witcher. Again, I'm still gonna stand by what I said last night on the recording. We've seen maybe 5 to 10 minutes of Immortals of Avium. We just saw 45 minutes of Starfield. Just gonna throw
But
that out there.
if they called it an Avium Direct, I would get it. But they just keep
I would hate
showing us
that.
the same stuff over and over again for Avium, and it's
It's a
like,
whole different level. What are you talking about?
oh, sorry, I want to see half the game before it releases. The thing is, Avium's a lot more
Five
smaller
minutes.
of a game. What?
5 minutes.
Was it really only 5 minutes?
I'm talking about
There was there like a
in totality what we've gotten from Immortals of
There's no
Avium
way it's
is
only 5 minutes we've gotten total from
four
Avium.
total trailers, so maybe a little over 10 minutes.
So more like an hour.
I don't think you know
I
how
don't
math
know.
works. All right, I'll run through the notes. Path of Exile. While I enjoyed the first Path of Exile, Path of Exile 2. Well, I enjoyed the first one. Again, didn't really do too much. It was a very short trailer. Showed like maybe 30 seconds. Witchfire. That's a meh for me. And yes, it was funny the moment I looked over, this
Yeah,
dickwad up here
I was
smiling.
fucking pumped, man. It looked awesome.
Fae Farm apparently had a dude that pop. People in the crowd pop for Fae
Yeah, that
Farm.
was one of those. Yeah, why?
Don't know
What?
who.
It looked very, very, very mediocre, that game.
Hawkeye Star Rail coming to PS5. Black Desert Online, no one cares about. Yes, Your Grace Snowfall, whatever. Uh, Call of Duty's next season. We're moving on.
Yeah.
Lisfanga, The Time Shift Warrior, Throne of Liberty, another MMO from Amazon, and like Logan said, a lot of fucking blah. So the middle of this dragged pretty heavily. Thought it started pretty strong. I think it ended pretty strong. And the middle of it was a lot of what the hell ever. So that was our review and discussion for Summer Game Fest. Overall, I still think it's a pretty good show. Don't know how much better it really could be. Maybe some more release dates. Maybe some more high quality, not high quality, because some of these games, most of these games are probably going to be good, but like, I guess more meaningful games is what I mean to say in the more not derogative, but a less derogative term. So I don't know. But all right, let's go into the big one. The Xbox Games Showcase and Starfield Way Too Long Direct.
I
All right.
thought it was fantastic, but I also know that like Starfield is going to be a 100-hour game. What we saw was probably literally like a couple percent, like probably like 10% of the
Way
whole game,
way
most
too long.
likely.
Way too long.
Way too long.
Anyway, my overall thoughts and opinion on this. I was bouncing back and forth between oh shit. Shoot. Sorry.
Woo!
I knocked something over. I was bouncing back and forth between two scores, and I just can't in good conscience give it any lower than an A tier. I think this is a strong A tier conference. It had a lot of what I'm looking for in a showcase, a lot of gameplay trailers. Don't spend too long on something. Show us what it looks like. Couple minutes, move on to the next big thing. A lot of cool announcements. I do think the ending of the show was pretty darn weak, and I think I have a very easy way to fix that. But we'll talk about that here in a second. But overall, I mean, out of the three showcases that we've seen, this has the least amount of mez on my list and the most amounts of good. So there it is right there. That's the number one showcase we've seen so far. And overall, like I said, a very, very strong showing from Xbox. There were a lot of things, well, quite a few studios that I would have preferred to see. Thank you. Would have preferred to see here that I thought we would have a strong chance of seeing here. But I can't really take that as a negative because, like, if they're not ready, they're just not ready. Like, there's nothing that they can really do. If it takes 4 to 5 years to make a game nowadays, that's just what it takes. So we're not gonna get your, your PlayStation 2018s where it's just absolute banger after banger. God of War, Spiderman, Days Gone, Detroit Become Human, Ghosts. The list goes on and on and on of announcements from a showcase like that. I think it's kind of hard to get to that level of showcase again, which is in my mind an S tier for them. So I don't know how much better they could get other than throwing in a couple more big time hitters, but most of this was good. Again, the format was the way I prefer it to be outside of the last 45-minute drag, but everything, yes. A tier, very good showing. Like we talked about at the end of it. I don't think it was the slam dunk, but they got the ball in the hoop, and that's all that matters.
Well, I totally agree. It's definitely for sure an A tier, 110%. I think they did. This is honestly one of their best showcases they've had in a long while. And I'm really happy to see that it was in general just a really good showcase. Was it the best showcase of all time? Absolutely not. That's why it's not S tier. But I do think it's a solid A tier. It's fantastic. They had a lot to show. They didn't do what they did a couple like last year and the year before that with excessive cinematic trailers, which thank God, very much prefer that. Again, as I said, what do I prefer? Gameplay, not cinematic trailers. So there still was some, but definitely nowhere close to what they had in the past, where it seemed like every damn new game they were releasing was just cinematic trailer, cinematic trailer, cinematic trailer, cinematic trailer. I'm like, dude, I don't care. So,
Then you
I
had
also
your
feel like,
then you had your 15-minute block where they talk about the trebuchet from Age of Empires 4.
yeah,
That was so dumb. Sorry, didn't mean
when
to
did
interrupt.
that happen?
That was at the showcase 2021.
Oh, it was really.
Yeah, it was so bad.
But no, I thought it was really good. I'm especially just happy that we got to at least see a good amount of Xbox studios show up and show some stuff. I think obviously the biggest one this year is Starfield. Um, I think they needed to do the 45-minute thing. I know Mike didn't like that. That's fine. But I think it's a good thing because Xbox really needs to earn trust at this moment. And so to show their big one, the big one, this is the thing that will put Xbox kind of up above again. Bring him back because Starfield needs to be a big win. So that's why they put it as its own direct, and they wanted to kind of really prove to people and sell people on this game. Because I don't really think most of the stuff they showed before has done a really good job of selling it because people just didn't believe it, which I don't blame them. This game sounds too good to be true, which is fair. That's why I think the 45 minutes was a good thing they did that. So I'd also give, technically that's a different showcase, but I'll give that an A tier as well. So,
That's a D
but
tier for
I'm
me.
D tier. But I'm happy that they showed this because this is going to be a huge game for them, a gigantic game, and again, they have to like sell us on this because I'm not gonna lie, this year hasn't been a good one for Xbox. We had Redfall, so not great. So that's why I think they really need to prove themselves, and I feel like they did it. So, all right. I'm
I don't
ready to
know.
start with their bads.
I'll get into it in a second. I just question how many more purchases do you think 45 minutes of showing gameplay really got them? Because I'm gonna say I don't really think it got them that many.
It sold me because I originally wasn't. You were somehow you were more hyped for this game than I was,
I fucking love
and I just wasn't.
Skyrim,
I
dude.
well, I'm dude. Okay, I've seen nothing but garbage from, well, not garbage, but a lot of just not good stuff from Bethesda lately. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
we
that's
had Fallout
Fallout. Fallout always
76.
sucks. So
No, that's a lie. I did like Fallout 4 still.
see, I'm not a
Even though a
Fallout
lot of
guy,
people didn't
so
like it, but I also know it wasn't as good as like New Vegas, and that New Vegas was like freaking the best. But and Skyrim was also obviously amazing. But we haven't really gotten super good stuff. So I just wanted them to kind of prove it. I want them to show some stuff. And this game is so huge. They can't just fit it in a 5-minute trailer and be like, this is everything, guys. Like they would literally have to be like boom, 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 boom. Like they wouldn't be able to show off
I
all this stuff. I
mean,
don't believe they could. I
they
don't believe they could.
I
Now, did they probably need 45 minutes? I agree. 45 minutes is a little long. They could have probably dropped it down to like 20 to 30.
I
Probably
think
in that area.
I think 15 to 20 would have been completely understandable. I would have been
The
okay with
45
that.
minute, I will admit they kind of did the biggest problem with like a long thing is they kind of repeated themselves like second way through where they're like, "Hey, let's hear some of our workers' opinions." And then they talked about stuff and then they did the same thing again. I'm like, "You just did that. You just brought up like, what do you guys think? What's your favorite thing in the game?" Like they did that 2 times in that direct. And I'm like, that's cool and all, but like you didn't have to do. Why didn't you just do all their opinions in one part of the direct so people can kind of get a gist of like interesting little things? I don't know. I still like it though.
All
So
right.
I still think it's an A tier because I think it actually sold me on the game. I was not as sold as you were. I mean, heck, it sold me so much that I got the special edition. So yeah, I'm very pumped for the game now. I haven't been this pumped for this game until I watched that 45-minute gameplay thing, and I'm like, all right, you did it. You sold me. I'm very excited for this game now. So,
All right. Before we get to the bad, I want to make my big change to this that I think kind of improves the overall ending of the show.
mhm.
So the show ended. Well, okay, it didn't end. It ended with the Series S reveal, which that should just never have been the ending at all. But
Mhm.
the last game shown was In Exile's Clockwork Revolution. Now, I am not talking any sort of shit or bad will on this game. I thought it looked fucking cool. But this thing should have ended with Fable.
Yeah.
I think Clockwork Revolution, a new IP from a lesser known studio. Shit, you and I know a lot about the industry, and I had to look up what the hell in Exile was because I had no clue what they make. It's a
hmm
brand new type of game for them. That's something you show off more towards the beginning. Like, maybe have Phil Spencer come out like, hey, here's this team. They've made this game to let people know here's what they're working on next, the new ambitious game, what they're going for. You open the show with that. Then at the very end, you show your Series S, and then boom, you end with Fable. And I think that is way better of a beginning and end. I guess the beginning's awesome because it opened with Fable, but you know what I mean. That's a way better way to end the show. You end it with Fable.
I mean, either way, they would start off if they swapped them. Either way, I feel like it was a good start.
Yeah.
It was a good getting that wheel moving. Like, oh
Yeah.
shit, like you're starting. All right,
Yeah.
we're going full momentum.
But like
we're going in.
Having that at the end, it's like, yeah, this looks cool, but who's in exile? I don't really know them, and it just felt kind of blah at the end of it. Like, you can see Logan and I's both faces. It was like, why?
Yeah,
what was that?
Thing, man, dude, that I did not like that at all. Like, I just don't. Why? Like, yeah, I feel like for the ending of a showcase, you should always end with like one big thing, one big surprise or something. Series S with 1 terabyte that's black is not a big surprise. That's just like, oh,
it doesn't necessarily have to be a surprise. Like, I think, while the showcase was nowhere near this type of quality, I think PlayStation's ending was cool. You announce some new hardware, then boom, end with Spider-Man, your big game.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, you could have like, I guess technically they did do that.
It's Clockwork Revolution.
Starfield. Because Starfield was right after it, they shouldn't have called it its own thing, because that's what kind of makes it confusing, because technically they did do that, but also like they didn't. So I don't know. Yeah, I think it'd probably be better if they honestly did end with either Clockwork Revolution. They should have done, hey, we have a new Series S, okay? But then they hit us with that surprise, which was Clockwork, because we didn't know this thing was going to be there. That would have been a better ending.
And I think there needed to be some more
Fable at the beginning, but then end with that Clockwork after the Series S thing. The Series S thing isn't a bad thing. It's just that you made it the last thing in the entire show. Yeah. That's dumb.
And I just think there needed to be a little bit more lead into what Clockwork Revolution was to get us a little bit more excited. Because I was left with a lot of confusion. I'm like, this looks awesome, but who's the studio that's making it? I guess the people who love Wasteland know them, but I would not believe you if you believed the average person who watched this knew exactly who In Exile was and was super hyped when they saw their name. Like, I just don't believe that statement. So I think there maybe need to be some lead in. Maybe, again, bring Phil Spencer out, announce the Series S, and then say, here's our last big thing. And that would have been cool. It would have been like, oh, this is something brand new. This is awesome. But while it was going on, I was just like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's a little confusing. And then you went,
good, though.
Oh, it looks great.
Still
I'm not
exciting.
saying, it looks amazing. I'm just talking about, like, the structure of the show here. And then, you have the Series S. And then I'm going to transfer into my bad here. They say, we have one more thing. Big surprise. Starfield Direct that you announced 6 months ago.
I know.
So here's my biggest bad. My only real bad that I think was in this showcase. Showing a trailer for Starfield in a showcase where you have a Direct following. It feels to me, and I don't know how this is, it feels to me like they thought people were going to be surprised by the Starfield Direct, even though they'd announced the Starfield Direct. That's what it felt like. It would have felt like, oh, let's show Starfield in the middle of this, and then let's end it with this big thing. No one's going to see it coming. It's like, well, no, you told us it was going to be here. So I don't know what's happening right now.
Starfield Direct.
But tell me I'm wrong. Tell me it doesn't feel like they were like, oh, here's our one more thing. It's a Starfield Direct. It's like, we knew that. So I'm confused of where you thought I was going to be excited and surprised by that. Like, I was more confused about how you thought I was going to be surprised. Anyway, that's my only real negative. It's not really a negative. I just thought, like, why would you show a trailer for Starfield in a showcase when you have a Direct at the end of it?
Is that your only bad?
Yeah.
Oh, I have 2 bads. Okay.
I gave it an A for a reason.
So, I guess I'll go through mine real quick then. One of my bads was actually a brand new game that was announced here, and that was South of Midnight. 2 reasons. One, I don't think they even had a release date for the game. I don't think they did. Did they?
I'm looking through my list. I might have forgot about it. Whoops.
Yeah, so there wasn't even a release date. So not only did they show us a cinematic trailer, which with no gameplay, no nothing, then they just didn't give us a release date. So I was like, why is this here? And this is the problem with old Xbox. I don't like this anymore. I don't like when you're like announcing a new game and then you don't even give a year. Like you don't even give us a year.
Real
You're just like,
quick,
here's a new
Pineapple
game.
is fire.
Oh, I bet. But like, yeah, they showed off this game. Don't get me wrong, look cool, but I don't think the cinematic trailer in general did a really good job of explaining what type of game this is. You have to go outside of the showcase, which by the way is a flaw that's not a good thing. The cinematic trailer is supposed to be a good idea to sell the point what the game is going to be. When I seen Avowed, guess what I thought it was going to be like? It's kind of going to be like Skyrim, right? It's going to be an RPG. So I got the gist of what the cinematic trailer did. Did you get anything from that trailer other than the art style look cool?
Well, I didn't even put it on
There's
my
a
list, so I
monster.
forgot about it.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's literally like they didn't do anything to explain this game. Art style looks sick, but that also isn't the game. That is just cinematic trailer. So it's probably not even gonna look anything like that. So it's like I can't get excited for it, and then even worse, you don't even give us a year. So it's like, why was this here? I think you just like had to put something in there, and I don't like that. This is the same problem with Redfall when you showed it with the cinematic trailer and everything. Don't do this. This is old Xbox stuff. You should go to the new Xbox stuff, which is when it's ready, you show us gameplay or something like that, or give us a year. But it doesn't have a year. The cinematic trailer doesn't do a good job of explaining the game, and it's just like I didn't feel anything from this. I just thought it was bad. I just thought it was a waste of time, in my opinion. My second bad is Hellblade 2. They somehow showed less than what they showed 2 years ago. How? This game's coming out next year, and they showed less than what they did like 2 years ago. And all we got was just one long little cinematic of her looking in water and talking to herself in her brain. That was the entire thing. I'm happy we got a year, but that wasn't really showing anything. Yes, it was in-game cinematic, but we didn't get gameplay, which I thought was really annoying. So,
Well, I'll cut in real quick
why?
because I was bouncing around between putting this in bad or mad. I did put it in bad because I'm still confident the game is going to be very good. I'm
Oh,
very
I'm
excited
sure it's
for it.
going to release and be
But
good,
I
but I
I
just
do put it at the bottom of my list of mad because I thought this was a very bad showing for it.
yeah, like you didn't
Again,
show
it was
anything.
like you
It's
said,
called a showcase.
it was a 5+ minute trailer of nothing.
Yeah, of nothing. Literally nothing. Her just walking around in this cave and then looking at water and then like doing some trippy thing where she broke through the water. That's it. We didn't see anything else of this game. We seen way more 2 years ago. That looked so much more exciting. And then what we saw here was just a cinematic. I'm like, this is lame. This sucks. Like, I don't know. So that's my last bad. I think those are the two big bads for me that really just were like kind of very disappointing to me because like I just felt like I mean Hellblade wasn't a complete waste of time because we got a year, so we know for sure it's coming out next year. I believe that 110%. So that's great, but the rest of it was just it wasn't a good showcase for the game. It didn't do anything for me. It didn't show anything new other than a cinematic trailer that was less than what we seen 2 years ago. So yeah, South Midnight, I hope it's good, but you didn't show me anything and you didn't give us a year. So I honestly just don't think you should have showed up at all.
I have no clue where I
So,
put this game. Did I even write it on my list while I was watching it? Did I completely forget about this game's existence?
because it's the people that made We Happy Few. That's the people who are making the South of Midnight game.
Oh, I did put that. Oh, yeah, there it is. I found it. Yeah, that's in my
Yeah.
mess. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, all bads are done. Let's go to our
Yep.
goods. I will say, I'm just going to ramble off a couple games here. We can go in deeper on. The opening of the show was fucking fantastic. This show opens, other than South of Midnight, this show
Yeah.
opens with Fable. Again, I think it still would have been cool to see a little bit of a change up of things here. But anyway, opens with Fable, South of Midnight, whatever. Looks really awesome, but I don't trust compulsion games. I didn't like Contrast. I didn't like We Happy Few. I don't think they're very great at gameplay. The games look cool, but and then boom, go right into Star Wars. Huge pop for me. We had heard rumors that this game was coming out. Did not think in a million years it would be here. That was awesome. And then I believe the very next thing is Avowed. Like, man, what a
Oh,
fucking
dude, I
what a
remember how.
start.
Oh, I'm so
Actually, you know
pumped
what?
about that.
That's not right. I don't remember the order. Hold on. What is the order? I have it written down here. Okay, no, Val was away. It was a little ways down. But anyway, they went Fable, Compulsion Games, South of Midnight, Star Wars, Outlaws, then the 33 Immortals game, but that's on my mess. So then Payday 3, Persona 3, and then Avowed. So not in exact order, but anyway, I'm going to talk about all four of those games. Sorry, all three of those games. Logan already talked about one. All those games looked awesome. Thought they looked so freaking good. Big ups for me. I can't wait for Avowed. I do have to say, like I said in the thing, Avowed didn't look as good as I thought it was going to, and that's not really a negative. I still can't wait to play it. I'm probably gonna play it day one. It, I don't. It's hard to explain. It just didn't look as high quality, high budget as I thought it was going to. I don't know where that feeling's coming from, but I remember watching. I'm like, this feels a little cheaper than I thought it was going to. I don't mean cheaper as in like it feels cheap. It just feels like there wasn't as much money put towards this as I thought there was, and that's where I sit with it.
I don't know. I honestly think it looks fantastic. I think it looks really, really colorful and beautiful. Um, I mean, it looks like how I was guessing it was going to look. Because I knew it was. A lot of people assumed it was going to look like ultra realistic. I knew from the beginning when I played Outer Worlds that that was kind of how it was probably going to look. I'm gonna assume, and so it is exactly how it looked. And I think in general, it looks really great. I mean, it's made by the people that made I think Path of Exiles. So they're going from Path of Exiles to this. It's not I don't think it's the same team that made Outer Worlds. I think it's so there it is Obsidian, but Obsidian has different teams, and I think it's the Path of Exile, which by the way is by Obsidian, I'm pretty sure, that publishes it. I think. That's what I thought I heard today by somebody. So
No, it's
yeah.
published by Grinding Gear Games.
Then who was it that there was a game that someone said? Maybe it was like X devs of Path of Exile, whatever it was. Whatever. So maybe I'm wrong on that. I thought I heard that from someone today, but still, it looks really good in my opinion. I think it's going to be an awesome game. My only thing I'm kind of hoping for is it's not going to be like Outer Worlds where it's like condensed maps. I hope it's actually like a big open world. Um, that's my biggest worry with Avowed because Outer Worlds, my biggest disappointment with that game was that the
You're
worlds are
thinking of
super
Pillars
small.
of Eternity.
that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
That's what I was. Okay,
I
I
was
get
like,
mixed
no,
up
this is
between those
definitely
two.
Obsidian. I was so confused with where you were
No,
going
sorry,
with
yeah,
that. Yeah.
It's the same people that made Pillars of Eternity that are making this. So
Yeah.
yes,
The same
okay,
people that
sorry, that
made,
was the
Outer World, Grounded, Pentiment, then this. It's also the same people that made Knights of the Old Republic 2. Um, so yeah,
yeah,
I can't fucking wait for this game.
yeah. I'm sure it's gonna be great. So
It's
like
also
this. Do you want me to
people
go through my goods real quick?
it's also the people that made Alpha Protocol, but we don't have to talk about that one.
Yeah.
I mean, just kind of rattle some off, maybe a little bit
Okay.
less structure. We'll
Easy,
just
easy one for me. Starfield looks great. Very easy, good for me. I think it looks fantastic. I think they've definitely showed off a more new build to the game because I feel like what they showcased us like a year or so ago looked a little rough around the edges, to say the least. But I feel like they've done a lot with this game where it looks very solid, it looks very smooth, it looks like gunplay is a lot better. In general, they did a better job of recording the video. My God, dude, the other one, it's like all the blacks look super crushed and awful. Um, so they did a better job of just recording in general, and I just feel like they've done a lot of improvements, especially like enemies seem to like actually do stuff when you hit them. Also, I thought I noticed blood, but I don't know for sure. I kind of gonna look through that again, but I thought I noticed blood, which they didn't have before, so I don't know. Um, but yeah, fantastic. I totally agree with you on Fable. Fable's in both. I'm just gonna spoil this real quick. Fable's in both the good and the meh for me. That's for two reasons. I think good is they showed off actual end game footage and it looks phenomenal, and I'm very pumped for it. But I'm gonna throw in my meh real quick. It's just the fact that there's no release date, nothing. They just left us with nothing, and I'm like, then why was this here? Again, like, why was this here? Like, I know you have to show that you've been working on it, but give us a year. Like, I don't know. I just feel like
See,
it's dumb.
my perspective on it, and it's something we talked about when I said what I wanted for this. I want to see the future of Xbox. I don't necessarily want to see the things I'm going to be playing in the next 12 months. So
Yeah.
I'm okay with it not having a year.
I'm being fine if it's 2025, dude. I just
Yeah,
want
but
a year.
if it's that far off, I don't want a release date.
Well, then why show it?
Because why not? It's Fable. It's
I don't know.
here.
I guess it's fair. I don't know.
Because there was a lot of news that this game was kind of in trouble. So here, show it. It's good. It looks good.
That's true.
I
That's
would
fair.
have preferred some gameplay, at least a little snippet of
Yeah, a little
it.
bit. Yeah.
But I did not need a release date for this. I know I'm going to be waiting a while for Fable. And it's probably going to come out 2025 at the earliest.
Yeah.
But I didn't need the release date for it, so I'll disagree a little bit there. But that, again, you and I sometimes see things differently. There's sometimes I don't mind seeing a game that's a couple years off. If it's like, here's a trailer, let you know we're working on this. Now we're going to go dark for 2 years and finish it up. You'll see us when it's ready. I'm okay
I
with
just
that.
feel a little bit more burned with that because I
Well, from
was
Xbox,
an
yeah.
Xbox
But
person. So when they show things early, I always don't trust it because unless they're going to give a soon release date or like a early next year or late next year kind of thing, I don't trust. So I feel like something's always completely wrong with it, and that's where I don't trust it. That's why Xbox showcased them a little bit more pushy on like I want dates, I want years, because if you don't, then I really don't have a lot of faith in it ever coming out at that point. So that's what kind of scares me. So my next one is Forza. Very pumped for that game. Well, not very pumped, but I think it was a very good thing to showcase. And they gave a month, and it was in October.
we'll give a date too,
So
October 10th,
yeah, October 10th. So yeah,
which
that's
sucks. Means
awesome.
I'm not gonna be playing it, but
I'm also really happy that they didn't go super hard into like making it like a 15-minute thing like they did in the developer direct. It was just like, here's a quick snippet, here's a month, and it's coming out. See you guys. That's cool. I like that. It
yep.
was to the point. It didn't stay too long. I like that. And then you already did Avowed. My last one, real quick, and I have four more, but I'm not gonna do those. We'll do back and forth. My last one is all Atlas games, just every single one of them. Phenomenal. Happy to see all of them here. I think it's awesome that Xbox is trying to work more heavily with Japanese studios. I love Atlas. I mean, heck, it's freaking Persona 5's awesome. So to see Persona 3 remake, Persona Tactica, I think
Persona
it's Persona
5
5
Tactica.
Tactica.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they had Metaphor.
Re-Fantasy.
Yeah, Refantazoni. Sony. Yeah. So yeah, those were all really great, and even though we kind of got it ruined, I'm gonna turn off that leak, and I'm just gonna act like I just saw it here, and I think it is fantastic. I'm very pumped. I think those were awesome announcements. If you're lucky enough to not see the leaks, then I'm sure your mind was blown seeing that. So I'm very happy to see all those games announced here.
Yeah.
So
I'll shout out you in a couple of more Forza Motorsport. Awesome to finally see a release date. Unfortunate the release timing for me as both a
yeah.
Starfield player and a Spider-Man player. Don't see how Forza is gonna fit in there, but that's why I can buy games later on when they come out. And then yeah, I had all three of the Alice games here. I'm super excited for them. I don't love Persona 5 Tactica's art style, but I do love that style, that genre of games. So I may check it out when it comes out. It comes out in November, if I remember right. So we got a definitive release date on that. No release date on Persona 3, just release year. Um, but that's fine. Come out when it's ready. And then, yeah, Metaphor. It's a new IP. That's awesome. A new IP from Atlas. They haven't worked on anything new in a long time. So that's really interesting. All right. What's next? Well, fuck it. Let's throw Cyberpunk in there. Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty got a trailer and a release date.
And Keanu Reeves.
And Keanu Reeves on stage
Fuck
again.
yeah.
Even though I thought it was very weird that they had a filter over Keanu Reeves' voice while he was doing his thing, because like I re-listened to it and I watched different streams. It's a filter over his voice. It's a like a kind of mecho voice filter to make.
Huh.
I mean, obviously it makes sense with the universe, but why do that over the man's voice? That was weird, but that doesn't matter.
I'm a little sad he didn't do the "You're amazing" thing. I was a little sad about it, but it's okay.
Let me rattle off a couple here. We're just kind of going through some of these, talking about them. But yeah, I
Mhm.
think Cyberpunk looks great. Can't wait to play it. One cool bit of news that I will have to give CD Projekt props for, and again, they're probably forced to do this because they don't want to get bit in the ass again. All the changes and everything coming to Phantom Liberty are not locked behind the purchase of the DLC paywall, only the content. So
Damn.
all the changes, all the new things that they're doing is just an update coming to the game, and then what you pay for when you get the Phantom Liberty is just the content that's included in that. So big win for that. That's awesome. Again, they kind of have to do that because they can't be douches anymore because people are immediately going to call them out on it. So, but it's still good that that happens.
I wonder what new additions they're gonna add. Huh? I'm curious.
And then I'll throw in Exo's Clockwork Revolution. Like I said, I'm not talking shit about the game. I think it looks really, really cool. I was convinced in my own head that this was BioShock and I was going to lose my shit, but because it's, to be honest, it's BioShock. Like,
Yeah,
watch that trailer.
it's basically BioShock Infinite.
Yeah,
Basically.
it's BioShock Infinite. It looks nothing else like that.
Yeah,
I thought Capcom's Path of the Goddess. You know, I'm a big
that was
Capcom.
cool.
I'm a big Capcom guy.
Dude, Capcom right now,
Dude, they're killing
dude,
it,
they have
dude.
it.
They're
I
fucking,
believe anything they make right now is gold.
dude.
So
I don't know.
honestly, they could do whatever they want at this point. They got it.
They fucking drank the water that MJ gave Bugs Bunny back in Space Jam. I don't know what the hell's going on
Yeah.
with them, but they had a couple years and they're like, no, fuck this, we're going in. And
I mean,
for
heck,
the past
they made
decade,
Street Fighter 6 get a 90, dude. If they could do
92?
that, they could do anything.
they made Street Fighter 6 one of the best fighting games ever made.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought that looked great, even though that was when all the troubles started happening with the show. But that's not the game's fault. But yeah, I thought it looked cool. Yeah, the perspective was a little weird when we were watching it. It felt like it was halfway in between third person and top down. But I thought the game looked cool. I love kind of mythology based games like that, so I'm excited to check that out. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. I love Yakuza games, even though they're not called Yakuza anymore, which is one of the dumbest decisions in recent memory. But the game looks really cool, and
yeah, now that it's, I guess it's set in America, so that's kind of interesting.
yeah,
So,
I mean, it's a sequel to. Okay, this is gonna get confusing. It's the sequel to Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Like a Dragon.
But now it's just Like a Dragon.
Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth.
Anyway, if you don't know what Yakuza Like a Dragon is, there was their spin-off, their, kind of turn-based JRPG as opposed to like, the more action-based RPG of Yakuza fame. So this is really cool. I've played Like a Dragon. God damn it. I played Yakuza Like a Dragon. Now I'm going to play this one. And yeah, it's just really, really cool, really awesome. Hard as shit platinum, by the way. Ridiculously terrible platinum, only because of only because one trophy. You have to beat this 100 level like hotel without dying. It's fucking hard shit. Never got it done. But and I guess I'll just throw in my last two right here. Banner Saga. I love the Banner Saga. Towerborn looks really cool. Same kind of style that those people are known for.
Oh yeah.
I think the Banner Saga trilogy is really cool. And then City Skylines, big plus coming to Game Pass. Don't have to pay for it. So I love city builders. I love any type of builders. I'm waiting on Planet Coaster 2, but so good. No, I'm done. That was all my goals. I
have one more left, and that was just Payday 3. Payday 3 actually surprised me by quite a bit. I know this isn't your type of game, but for me, really did not expect this game to be here. And even more crazy is to get an actual release date within this year. That's even more crazy to me. So that was a good one for me. I'm really pumped to see more about it. Because I mean, I think it looks better, but they didn't really show a lot of new stuff in it other than like a new bank and the kind of like hostage thing that you could do where you can grab them with a gun. That was unique, but I didn't see anything else that they really showed off that was like new to me. So I'm really curious to see more about it. But I just want to say a very good announcement. I'm very happy about that. I didn't know if it was a Game Pass day one, but if it is, that's an amazing Game Pass game to come out day one, because Payday 2 is an amazing game, and Payday 3, I'm sure, is going to be just as good. So, yeah, that's my last good. I agree with you on the Cyberpunk, obviously. I agree with you with Like a Dragon, and I agree with you on the Path of the Goddess. And then I forgot about that tower game, but that's also one of them that I absolutely, I agree. All good stuff. So.
All right, let me go with my teetering meh, because I didn't really know where to put this, if it's a good or a
wait,
meh.
one more.
Go ahead.
I want to say Clockwork's Resolution is also a good, but it's also a meh. So yeah, you know why?
Really?
I'm sure.
Oh, just because of the order of it.
Because there's no date, no
Oh,
nothing, no
okay,
year.
okay.
It's like,
I
okay.
got you. All right, so my teeter totter of a meh. I didn't know whether to put this in meh or good, because I love the developer, but the game didn't look super interesting. Anyway, Don't Nod reveals Jusant, this kind of climbing adventure based game. It looked chill, but I just don't. I wasn't really sold on it. Didn't really love what I saw, but I do love Don't Nod, so that's why it's kind of teetering. So put that in whatever category you want. All right, my mez. Again, we're just gonna rattle some off. You can rattle some off. Yada yada yada. Things I agree with. Let me know. The show closer being the Xbox Series S is just a weird ass decision. We've
Hmm.
already talked about it. We're gonna move on. Looks good, I guess. You know, it looks cool. It's black.
Yeah, no,
It
I,
looks
I
good.
like it's all black. It
Yeah.
looks cool. So
Um, what was I doing? Oh yeah, sorry. Compulsion Games, South of Midnight. Already talked about that. I think it looks good from a visual perspective, but I don't really like Compulsion Games that much. I've played a lot of their games. Well, I played two of them, and I haven't really been on board with them. I'll throw Payday 3 in there because I don't give a flying fuck. So that's in my mad, but it didn't look bad, so I wasn't gonna put it in the bad. And the last one before I'll turn it back over to him for a couple. 33 Immortals. I like Spiritfarer. I like that style. It looks really cool, but I just didn't really. I couldn't really glean what they were going for, other than just having a lot of players on screen doing stuff, and I couldn't really glean what the game was trying to go for there. But it looks really cool, visually wise. But I couldn't really come down with what the game was trying to be. So I'll turn it over to you for a couple.
okay. I agree with most of those, other than of course Payday 3. But let's see. Overwatch 2, very meh thing to see there. Um, could really care less about it, especially after the fact that what they're doing and the fact that they wasted all these years making basically nothing. So it looks okay. Whatever. The weird thing they're doing with it right now, that weird story thing they're doing. I don't know. I thought Outlaws was a meh, and it's not because I think it was a boring looking game. It's just more that like I don't even know why they showed it here. If they were literally gonna show it today, which they did, and it just kind of was just like, hey, here's an advertisement for another show. Like, I think we all knew there was a Star Wars game coming out. You could have just waited to announce it at your own show. You didn't need to announce it at Xbox and then be like, hey, guess what? Go to our show so you can actually watch the gameplay. I just feel like that was a waste of time. Like, I don't care. So that's why it's kind of a meh. And the Ubisoft showcase, I'll say it looks great. So there you go. And then Clockworks Revolution, I put in meh as well. Anyways, I put it in good as well. I think good because I'm really happy to see a new title. It looks fantastic. It looks great. Meh because there's nothing. There's no year. There's no date. There's no nothing. We just who knows when it's coming out. So whatever. And then I want to name off three real quick because we're all the freaking same. Sea of Thieves, Elder Scrolls, Fallout 76. Cool updates. Whatever. Great. You could just do that at any moment. I don't care. Those were just time wasters in my opinion. So I'll say actually screw it. I'm just gonna throw my last one in there because you already said it. Flight Simulator. Another meh. Cool. They're
Did not.
updating Flight
I did not
Simulator.
mention Flight Simulator, but it's on here.
Yeah.
Um, I will say, talking about those weird additions or just like updates of things, I think that's where Xbox could use something like PlayStation has with the PlayStation blog. That feels like it should
Yeah.
be a blog post, like here's the new expansion trailer coming this day, instead of having to use up a time slot in here. I know they kept cucking us with showing Bethesda, and we were like, oh, is it
I
Dune?
know.
Is it the Indiana Jones game? Which, by the way, where the hell is that? I really want to see
I
what
know.
Machine Games is working on. Yeah, and Sea of Thieves. Um, I really wanted the Star Wars crossover now that we
That would have
talked
been
about it.
hilarious,
Would
but
have
I
been
also would have been
awesome.
like, what the hell? Like, this doesn't make any sense at all.
It was fun. I was very
Flying shit.
confused. I was very confused when it said Sea of Thieves and then Lucasfilm, and I was like, huh. It's an interesting choice. But anyway, last two that we haven't talked about yet. I agree with Fallout 76. No one cares about. Elder Scrolls Online. People care about, but I don't. And
Yeah.
then yeah, Microsoft Flight Simulator. Would love to play it, but my PC will burn my house to the ground if I try to. So,
Yeah.
um, last two, Dungeons of Hinterberg. It's a whatever game.
Yeah,
Looks
that looked very whatever. Yeah.
yeah, and then Still Wakes the Deep. Couldn't really glean what the game was going for the showcase. no release date, no real nothing on it. So that goes into meh for me, and that's all we got. Like I said, overall, I love the showcase. Obviously, there's some weird inclusions. Would have liked to seen a little bit more from some of the bigger Xbox studios. We saw a lot from some of the smaller ones that we weren't expecting. Would have liked to see what some of the big guys are working on. But I guess that's just personal for me. Um, and I didn't mention anything about the Star Wars Direct. I didn't even factor that into my review for the showcase because it's a fucking D for me because it was way too damn long. But 30 minutes too long in my eyes. But anyway, that is our Xbox showcase and review. Like I said, using baseball instead of a basketball analogy, wasn't the grand slam, but it was a home run. So good on them. Um, next time we see them, I want to see more from some of the bigger studios. Any last thoughts?
Um, I don't think so. Yeah, I just thought it was a really good showcase. A tier for sure. But yeah, like we said at the very end of the showcase yesterday, and that yeah, it just they had an open net where literally we had both Summer Games Fest and PlayStation. They had injuries on the court. They're on the sidelines. Xbox had the full court to themselves. They really just had to dunk it in, but they kind of tripped on their feet a little bit and barely tipped it in. It went in, and it was like, okay, you know. So yeah, I think it could be better, but I think this is one of the better showcases they've done in years. So this is probably one of the best Xbox showcases I've seen in a while. So I'm really happy with what they showed, but I hope they kind of keep the same energy from now on. I want to see more of this. I like what they did here quite a bit. So yeah.
All right, well, there it is. As always, guys, let us know down below what you thought about everything that we had to say here about the about the Xbox Game Showcase and Starfield Direct. If you stayed awake enough to watch it, that's a big question. And then Summer Game Fest. Let us know down below what you thought about all of them. I know apparently everyone loved the Summer Game Fest, so Logan and I are definitely on the lower end of what we thought about that. Which is weird to me because I've seen showcases that go way harder than both of these. So I'm hoping that our expectations aren't lowering as an industry for what these people can give us because we've seen them give us way better stuff than what they have here outside the Xbox One. Xbox One is very good. So let
Yeah.
us know. Let us know down below what you guys thought. Comment down below. Talk to us. We'll talk back. We're going to go now to Let's Talk Reviews. We're actually going to skip over the Future Game Show because we're running a little long right now. We will talk about all three of those showcases next week. I will talk about Capcom, Ubisoft Forward, and the Future Game Show on next week's episode. So we'll have a deeper dive into those. So just keep it locked, keep it tuned. We're going to go now to Let's Talk Reviews, where we go through and give you the scores of all the games coming out this week that you got a chance to play if you've decided you wanted to hop into them or not. So far, it's pretty dull right now in the video game world. Outside, obviously, of Diablo 4 came out, got an 89. Bleak Sword DX got an 81. Harmony: The Fall of Reverie came out, got an 82. MotoGP 23 a 77, and Mark of the Rose a 74. And look, I'm a little surprised you haven't jumped into Diablo 4 yet. You were all about it when they announced it a couple
Oh,
years
I
ago.
am, but I have too many games to play right now, man. Like, I suddenly beat Zelda, dude. I'm not gonna start Diablo 4 right now. Hell no. But I do plan on getting it down the line. It's gonna be kind of like Street Fighter and all. It's gonna be a game I'm gonna get when it goes on sale down down the line.
But when you
I
do
just
get it,
have
let
more.
me know.
I
We'll
have
play it
more
together.
games I'm more excited for than I am Diablo. Diablo's really good, but I have other games I'm a little bit more excited for. Like I have Starfield. I have to beat Zelda. We have Spider-Man coming out. Liza P. And then we have a bunch of VR games I want to play too. Like I want to play that new Asgard's Wrath 2 quite a bit. So yeah, I have a little bit of a filled thing. So Diablo 4 is probably going to be like a next year kind of thing for me. So,
Well, let me know
which is
when you
fine. I don't really care. I don't play it for the PvP and all that. I just play it to beat the campaign and play with Amy. So, yeah.
Well, let me know when you get Diablo 4. I'll obviously play some co-op with you. I'm still waiting for you to buy Dying Light 2 so I can play that. So
Yeah, no, I need to. It goes on sale quite a bit.
it
Well, we
does.
need time, free time.
That's
So
true. We
hopefully
don't
next year
have
we'll
free
have some
time,
more
so.
lulls.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, hopefully I graduate, and then we'll have all the laws in the world. So,
exactly.
all right. Well, now we're gonna go to out this week. These are the games you get the chance to play this week if you are so inclined. And do say, there's not a lot here, but there is one cool game that I've kind of looked up some stuff and I'm interested in. But anyway, on June 13th, I don't know how to say that. Dogane comes out on PS5. PS5 for Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC. On June 15th, Crime Boss Rocket sees its much anticipated next gen release on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. Layers of Fear on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. On June 16th, Formula 1 23 on PS5 for Xbox Series X and S, and PC. And then the one that I'm interested in, Park Beyond on
Park
next gen.
Beyond looks great.
I keep saying next gen on current gen consoles, PS5,
Yeah.
Xbox Series X and S, and PC. And that's your week.
Yeah, Park Beyond looks really cool. I agree with you. It looks like Thrillville, like hardcore remnants of Thrillville.
And
so that's awesome.
I've kind of been having a hankering. Peyton and I are talking about vacation, so I'm getting a little bit back into roller coasters. I've always loved roller coasters, but I really want Planet Coaster 2 to come out. So, but no news on that yet.
That's fair. You just got Park Beyond to be that between thing.
Yeah,
or you could play, could play 2 Point Campus, dude. Play that game. Absolutely fantastic game. It's really fun.
I want to build roller coasters though.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But 2 Point Campus is actually really fun.
I know. I had all intent and purpose in playing it, and then they released, and I never played it. So
Layers of the Fear will actually be the first, I think, because I'm pretty sure that's an Unreal Engine 5 port of the original game that's coming out. So that's gonna be the first Unreal Engine 5.
I didn't even know if this was the old one or the new one. The Layers.
No, I think it's a new one. It's the new. They updated it for Unreal Engine 5, and I'm pretty sure that's what they're reporting out. So that's gonna be the first Unreal Engine 5 game. That's third party.
Who the hell knows?
So
let's get out of here. I got chicken to eat. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of our show. Everyone who's either been watching or listening, we just want to take this time, as always, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Without your support, we could not do what we're trying to do here at the Experience Point. But please help us to continue to grow by telling everyone out there that you know has the slightest appreciation for all things pop culture, that you have some new friends waiting to talk all sorts of fandoms with them. We, as always, would greatly appreciate it, especially you 4 new subscribers. Tell your friends out there if they like video games. We actually aren't dumb and know a little bit about the industry, so let me know down below. Spread the word. Spread the juices of the XP boys out to the world, please. That's what I want from all of you.
Of the XP boys.
Mr. Birdman, any last words?
Thank you guys for stopping by. Hope you guys enjoy this episode. I know it's a long one, but this is as I said, the summer of gaming. You know how it is every summer. We got a lot of news, so excited to see that. Oh, what the heck? You blew some smoke in your mic or something?
It wasn't working.
But yeah, no, it was this was a fun one. We had a lot to talk about, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully, maybe you guys learned about some of the showcases. If you do want to go check it out, we do have both of our reactions uploaded for both the Xbox and the Summer Games Fest. So go check those out. Go see what's new. Heck, go check it out before you watch this, and then you can see our opinions on it and see what we thought. But yeah, I mean, I guess if you listen to this point, you already heard about all this, but whatever, you know what I mean. Other than that, you guys will see me on the next XP podcast. I'm going to bring back the mic, and we're going to get on out of here.
Once again, thanks everyone for listening and following along with us. This has been yet another episode of the XP podcast, brought to you by us here at the Experience Point. I hope everyone has a great week, and as always, we'll talk to y'all on the next one. Don't forget to spread the semen of the XP boys. See you guys.
See you guys.